And we are back with the Really Woke Reports chill out sesh. It's a nice chill out sesh. We've come back for part 2. I want to thank each and every one of you. Yeah. 111 we went live at. 111.
That wasn't even intentional either.
It wasn't.
That wasn't even intentional. That just kind of happened, man.
And below me here is a content maker that some of you may be very familiar with, and some of you may not know who he is at all. If you don't know who he is at all, you've probably been under a rock. His name is Ranty Flat Earth, and he has his content on his channel as well. I'll make sure the link for that is in the description and in the chat room for you. Ranty, you all right?
Yeah, cheers, Roxanne. Thanks for introducing me and asking me to come on.
Aww.
I've just finished my stream, and it was nice to see that you'd just invited me to come in, so why not?
Lovely. Yeah. I caught your stream tonight as well. You've been putting out a lot of content, trying to be as informative and as helpful as you can be to people. Sorry about my dog making noises in the background. Can you give us a synopsis, because I'm going to send everyone over and give them the link if they've missed it this evening. Can you give everyone a synopsis on what you kind of covered tonight?
We've been everywhere tonight. We've talked about all kinds of stuff. I was hoping to get some token globers to come in, but nobody rose to the occasion. So I had a bit of, there was 2 or 3 of us there having a bit of a chat. And yeah, we got talking about all kinds of stuff. Of course, the coronavirus. We're talking about Agenda 21, Agenda 30. Talking about the paedophile rings that are going around, and what may be happening in the future. All kinds of stuff. Wasn't all flat Earth. I was hoping to be more flat Earth tonight, but just the way it developed. Each show's different, so
true.
You just got to go with the flow, kind of thing.
It's true. And I think, as we were saying earlier on this evening, as much as I want to talk about rabbit holes and everything, which we're going to definitely get into tonight, and as I said, I thank you for gracing us with your presence at the beginning of this show, because the tail off of what we were talking about earlier on was the ramifications. We had Adam on giving some useful advice. I know you've had Adam on your channel this week as well. He's like a wealth of information when it comes to actual facts and figures of what people should be doing right now. We had some great advice what to not do with ibuprofen this evening, which was really good. And also to everyone in the chat room, thank you so much for your input there. I'll get to you in the chat room in a second. Go on.
Can I give a shout out to Martin Leedski? So he's in the chat.
Martin, you're on Instagram as Flat Earth British Think Tank, aren't you? If I'm correct, Martin Leedka. I think I saw you in the chat room there. If you're on as Flat Earth British Think Tank, I saw that video that you shared this evening on Instagram. Where were those tanks going? Where were they, and where were they going? I really want to know where those tanks were going. I've seen that video, and now I just want to know where they're going, because that wasn't just 2 or 3, was it? That was a long convoy, and they were definitely going somewhere. So yeah, if you're still in the chat room, give us a shout and let us know if you know where that was. I'll show you it actually.
Under the guise of what's going on as well, think about this. It's ripe conditions for a war to occur, a world war. And I would say maybe not immediately, but certainly within the next 2 years, I would think. And I think it's gearing up towards against China. Would be my.
What's going on?
Where's that, in the UK?
Yeah, I'm just asking him now if he's still in the. Martin, where's that video taken? He's still in the chat room. Where was that video taken? It's on Martin's Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, get yourself a profile. Go over there. You're missing out a whole lot of red pills and facts and figures. So much and been easier. You can get content out so much quicker on there than you can on YouTube. You proper got to make content to put stuff out on YouTube, or put stuff in a community section like I do that never gets hardly seen by anyone because it's censored. So yeah, if you haven't got Instagram, Shane, I'd get it.
Yeah,
I definitely would.
Was it you a few days ago, Roxanne, that I was talking to about the Chinese and my suspicions about how they were so ready for this you know, for the cleanup operation once they started to actually address the situation in Wuhan. Was it you that I was talking to?
I think it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at those trucks that they had on the streets, they had a dozen trucks, one after the other, all spraying those disinfectants around. You know, if you believe that there is a virus out there, I personally do, and I'll tell you for why. Because I think there's a bigger plan. You know, I think that what happened is they probably released it on their own people, because Wuhan was the center of the uprisings, all the dissidents and what have you. But also, it gives them plausible deniability, because they can then turn around and say, well, it started here, we were the worst affected. But when you look at how they reacted, how quickly, and the machinery they had, the people that with all the hazmat suits on, in all the hospitals everywhere, I mean, they disinfected all of China in what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? Is there any other country that has that kind of equipment? You know, do we have it in the UK? Have they got it in France? Have they got that amount of equipment, that amount of detergent or whatever it was that was used to kill the virus, quote unquote virus? I don't think they have. I think they were prepared for this.
You know what? You got a point. I did see a lot of equipment. Sorry about that noise. I did see a lot of equipment that I'm not familiar with. I'll say that much. I saw a hell of a lot of equipment I'm not familiar with. So it remains to be seen, I suppose. I suppose it's one to watch for what kind of equipment they're going to roll out. Again, I feel like we're in such uncharted territories. There's so many. I think if you're familiar with your surroundings, then you're going to see things that are being used that are out of place straight away. Even just in London, they're using a few things with British Gas networks. Cadent, they're using these. They look like, you know, a burger press, where you've got the thing that goes down and it looks like it presses the burger together. Do you remember the old school burger presses? Am I man with this one? Anyway, it looks like a burger press on the road. Yeah. It looks like an actual burger press, and it's got this thing that goes like almost like a corkscrew opening a bottle, and it goes down at the same time and back. I've never seen anything like it in my life, and I've worked on site for over a decade, and I've never seen any kind of plant that looks like that ever. And it said, yeah, we're working for you. You know, that whole banner thing they put on the side. And I just thought, what is, I think it said Cinco on it or something. It was made by a company called Cinco, CINCO or something like that. It didn't look normal. It looked like military grade equipment that was dressed up as Cadent gas network stuff. It was like, not, anyway, just if you see something, say something. That's what I'd say on that. It says your last video is blocked because of copyright, unless I'm seeing it wrong. My view 1875 says Renty Flat Earth. It says your last video is blocked because of copyright. So
interesting. Right.
I don't know if you want to check that out. Yeah. And also to shout out to all of you in the chat room. Alfie Patching, lovely to see you. Level Earther Max DBB, lovely to see you as well. My View 1875, and the lovely Amanda Young is in the chat room as well. Doc Michael, Astro King, Martin Leaker, Mr. Oi himself is there. Vertec, lovely to see you still in the chat room. Riddle me this. Good point. It could be on its way to RF Luchas being deployed overseas with Defender 20 around. That doesn't surprise me. Tree Poet in the chat room as well. Further up is Runty in the chat room. Love it. Nick GB as well. Spirit Level and Raymond B. William B. Cool. Russell Red, lovely to see you as well. And at the top, we've got Pat Riot, Dave Paul, and Philip Morris. Lovely to see you too. Mark as well. And D. Carter, lovely to see you as well. Arthur Douglas. If I've missed anyone out, I'm Ronan the Voice, good servant. And if there's anyone I missed, I will get back into the chat room and give you a shout out. So something I saw this evening that I thought was quite alarming, and I would like to know if you covered this tonight. Shane, did you hear about Sainsbury's as of tomorrow implementing When I found out what it was, I just went, well, this is a bit of a Mick take. But anyway, as of tomorrow morning, you go into a supermarket, you'll only be able to buy a maximum of 3 of any grocery products and a maximum of 2 of the most popular products, including toilet paper, soap, and UHT. Sainsbury's have said that we've got enough food coming into the system, but we're limiting sales so that it can stay on shelves for longer and can be bought by a larger number of customers. Aldi on Monday became the first UK grocer to introduce rationing, limiting customers to buying 4 items of any one product during each visit. From Thursday, Sainsbury's will also be closing its cafes, meat, fish, pizza counters in all of its supermarkets, every single supermarket across the entire country. We're not talking about South England, West, Midlands. We're talking about the entire country. From Monday, the group will operate an expanded click and collect service with a significant increase in the number of collection sites across the UK. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said, shut down to social life in Britain and advised the most vulnerable isolate for 12 weeks. Sainsbury's also plans to reserve hours in stores specifically for the elderly and vulnerable. Tesco are now going to close down throughout the night for their Tesco stores that are 24 hours. They will all be closing at 10 o'clock at night every single night. So there's no more 24-hour Tesco either. So if you're relying on going to shops in the nighttime, don't, because as of tomorrow, that's not happening anymore. Morrison's said it plans to create actually 3,500 new jobs in this madness and expand its home delivery operation to help deal with it. So if you're near any Morrison's, you might be able to get home shopping delivery a little bit easier than some of the other ones. But then I wouldn't quote me on that if I was you. So yeah, Sainsbury's are to limit customer purchases and closing cafes on Thursday, but that limit of customer purchases as of tomorrow. So if Sainsbury's is your local supermarket, you will be limited as of tomorrow. And I will just repeat for you again what you will be limited to. You will be able to buy a maximum of any 3 grocery products you wish, and a maximum of 2. So you will not be leaving the store with more than 5 products. It doesn't matter what you need, what you want.
5 products total?
I'm trying to reiterate this to you very seriously, yeah? Chief Executive Mike Coop said this evening that from tomorrow morning, all customers will be able to buy a maximum of 3, any 3 grocery products. Anything you want that they have available, you can have a maximum of 3, right? And you can have a maximum of 2 of the most popular products, including toilet paper, soap, and UHT milk across the country. So like forewarn your family members so that they don't have a bilious attack when they get in the shop and they get read the riot act at buying more than 5 things. And you can't just buy 5 grocery things.
Where's this? Where's this from?
You can go and find it on Sainsbury's. You can go to I don't know of a media outlet other than let me see if Reuters can confirm it.
Hang on, Roxanne. Is this anywhere?
What do you mean anywhere?
Is this any supermarket, or is it just a particular?
No, this is in an open letter to all of its customers today. Chief Executive Mike Koo said that from tomorrow, that's today. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, you can just go to the Sainsbury's website if you want. I'm sure there's a news agency that will. But yeah, if you search on alternative things and just search specific, so don't go supermarkets in general, your local area, if you have a Lloyd's pharmacy, search on alternative search engines for Lloyd's pharmacy news stories. Yeah, if you have only got Morrison's in your local area, then search specifically for information to do with Morrison's on alternative media. Don't just broad search the internet right now for information on genres of subjects like this, because it won't come up.
Does that make sense? A link for that?
Just Sainsbury's website.
It's just on Sainsbury's.
Yeah, you can go to Sainsbury's. Let me just hold on. Let me see if I can. Reuters must have it somewhere. So let me see.
So I was half listening, half not. So you have to bear with me. I mean, the reason being because.
Okay, here we go. There it is. I've got it there. There we go. Yeah, it's confirmed there. They've written an article.
My Patreons got in touch with me and asked for your PayPal so that they could send me some money.
Aww.
So I've just emailed them back now to give them your email. So
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. And I've put that in the chat room and I'm sending that to you guys now. I've also found it on Routers, so you can have it there. But I would suggest that if you also have a supermarket that you rely on, just keep an eye on their website. They'll keep you updated on their individual websites as well, individual opening hours. You should be able to phone your local store as well. Most Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Asda's, Marks and Spencer's, they have a phone line as well. So it wouldn't hurt to give them a call before you try and go there. And get yourself, forewarned. My mum used to say is forewarned, Shane and Rich.
Oh, what's interesting here is it says the UK grocery industry has struggled for over a week to keep the shelves stocked.
See, they've admitted it, Shane. Do you know what I mean? It's after the horse bolted. That's what annoys me. That's what really annoys me. It's only after the horse is bolted and everyone's fucked. No one can get all the bits they need. Yeah, well, we were lying last week when we said we weren't struggling. We actually are. But now we're here. You can't really do anything because we're rationing your shit from tomorrow. You have no time to go out now tonight to get anything extra from us because we're rationing it from tomorrow. I couldn't even get into Sainsbury's today, Shane.
1 day. You've got 1 day left. If you need to get any food, you have to get it tomorrow somehow.
I know. That's the only worrying thing about it. But you did see my little pictures today. I went and got compost. I went and got seeds and I would urge anyone else to do that as well, because I won't be planting anything this week. I'm going to still gauge what's happening, but at least I've got a backup to go and do that. And I think if everyone can just get a backup plan for the backup plan, I mean, if I could get 2 chickens and a goat for some eggs and goat's milk, I would. I wouldn't be eating the goat and I wouldn't be eating the chickens, just so you know. But I'm even thinking, should I get a couple chickens for eggs? Because I haven't been able to buy eggs. See, since I came on your show, Shane, haven't been able to buy eggs. Even from then.
That's crazy.
My local, see my little shop there? I'll go in there and film it tomorrow and I'll talk to him and you'll see even my local Indian shop on the corner is no eggs. No eggs. I can't get eggs in Costco. I can't get eggs in Sainsbury's. I can't get eggs in Waitrose, Asda, Tesco, Iceland, Aldi, Lidl. Where else did I try? Can't think, but I've tried a lot of places. I definitely have tried a lot of places. Anyone else got ideas? I've got farm shop, so maybe I should try farm shop. Or do you think people have rinsed that already?
Corner shops, I think.
No, I'm saying my corner shops are dry. When I mean they're dry, they're dry. You can get Coke, Vimto. My corner shop actually got some.
Have you got tobacco in? That's going to run out soon.
Yeah, well, if tobacco if all of those luxury items, I'm not really bothered about luxury items. Does that make sense? I'm really not too. I know that my dad would tell me I should probably buy tobacco to use as currency and alcohol. My dad, when we went to Russia back in the day when it was USSR, you had to just take loads of fags and vodka and tobacco and alcohol was currency back in the USSR days. So maybe that's how it's going to go here. Maybe people are just going to start bartering their stuff, which is probably a better idea anyway. What do you think?
Bartering stuff. Wow.
Bartering trade, skills, time.
Yeah. I think that, society the way it is nowadays, it's probably far easier for people to not be the Del Boy type and just burgle your house,
But what if someone hasn't got an oven in their house and they haven't got access to things that they can do that kind of stuff in, but they're an electrician and someone that needs their electrics done needs bread mate?
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like the wartime spirit, isn't it? You scratch my back and I scratch yours.
Fix, make, mend, do. Fix, make, mend, do. Yeah. That's my ethos. I think that's a good idea. As I said, I think the more things that we can think of that are solutionary to what's going on, because I feel like we've all worked out what the problem is now. Whether there's any validity to the virus or not, there's a whole heap of validity to this lockdown. It's happening, isn't it? Good. Thank you, Zenith. I'm glad to hear that. I've not had eggs for 6.5 years, and it's really not been a big deal. So that's good. That's good to know. See, I love it.
But the thing is, regardless of when we start talking about the coronavirus, we need to change it from talking about, as soon as you say the coronavirus, people instantly start thinking of the cold or a flu or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they need to then turn it around in their heads and think, is it's going to be the lockdowns and the food shortages and all this other sort of stuff, and it's the start of something. Whatever it is, it's the start of something, and that when this period finishes, when it's all over and done with, you're going to have a different opinion of not just your local people, because it'll either be for the better or for the worse, but the whole scenario of everything that you've enjoyed up to now is going to be completely different.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. In a year and a half's time, it's just going to be complete. The layout of the land, everything that you thought was normal, is not going to be normal anymore. It's going to be different, and you've got to adjust to that.
It's all gone crazy in Africa as well. Have you heard what's going on in Rwanda?
No.
The prices have gone through the roof there. They've soared through the roof. They said it's as if people are preparing for war. A couple of shopkeepers in Rwanda said that people were absolutely clamoring all over the place for rice, cooking oil, flour, sugar in the capital, Kigali. They said the prices have been pushed up, but yet they still buy. They pushed the prices up to stem the panic buying. But they said, yeah, all that's happened is that all of the upper class and rich people, they said the rich people aren't afraid to pay the high prices. They're just buying it in huge quantities. Yeah, said another shopkeeper. Another shopkeeper that sells secondhand clothes outside the market in Kigali said that they couldn't afford more than a day's worth of food, and that if the outbreak continues, they won't. Their streets are already empty. There's no one for them to do business to, so there's like a complete stall. It's almost like an engine stall. It's like everyone's going, wait, before I can even get money to prepare, you lot have already prepared and gone. Wow. Does that make sense? So even in countries that aren't as advanced as certain other Western countries, they're already not even getting a chance to. They said here's a good example, right? The shopkeeper declined to give his name for fearing reprisal from the inspector. Said that Tanzanian rice had risen, from $29 per 25 kg bag, to, I think it's gone up to about $55, about 30,000 francs.
Right.
While the Pakistani rice was up from to 22,000 francs, right up by 7 to 30,000 francs. So they've shot up completely, and the upper classes have just gone in there and cleared it out anyway.
Wow.
They're struggling. They're struggling already with sugar, cooking oil. And
so if you haven't got it, if you haven't bought it like we've been telling you to, I mean, if you've been following my streams, I've been imploring people to stock up rice, sugar, milk. I've even put images out of the things that I've been buying on my posts, and sort of like giving you the biggest hint that you could possibly think. Go and buy these products, and now there's none left. There's not on the shops. They're all gone. And
as I said, I feel like anything that we can do to be helpful and usable as far as information is concerned, don't hesitate to ask in the chat room or email, because whatever information I can point you in the right direction of, the better. I really feel like people are going to have to start buying things to make from scratch instead of expecting the product to be there. Like bread. I already gave up on trying to find bread because I'm not at the shop early enough, clearly. I'm going to have to be at the supermarket before 9:30 in the morning to get that kind of stuff. And even at that, when I speak to people in the afternoon, the afternoon staff look positively traumatized at hearing what the morning staff are telling them that they've been through. As to today, it was horrible hearing what the girl said. She said that one of the girls that left in the morning, had her family members come and pick her up because she was that traumatized as to the stampede of people through the doors in the morning. Whatever that morning staff went through, they were like, not coming back tomorrow. You're having a laugh. I've got food to get from my own house. I'm not dealing with this. I can understand that. I don't know. I missed it. I didn't get to the shops until lunchtime, but whatever happened in the morning, it evoked a change of people obviously saying, fuck this, I'm going home. So they've had to call other staff in that wouldn't have normally been in that day. And she said, I don't know, I was called in. It's not even my day to be working. So you know, all the staff that went through that madness in the morning, they were all told to go home by lunchtime. And then the next set of calm staff that haven't been traumatized by that thing in the morning are all there mincing around, making it all look normal in the afternoon. Like I said, it was such an eerie, weird situation when I turned up there today. I felt like I'd missed the big picture, if you know what I mean.
I got knocked back. I got knocked back for a tin of spaghetti bolognese, right? So I put 3 in my trolley. It was the last 3 old battered old tins that were Heinz spaghetti bolognese at the back of the shelf that nobody had touched. They were all dented, like I said. Put them in my trolley, got to the checkout. Woman says, you can only take one of them.
Wow.
I went, you are? Just one? Said, yeah. Fine, whatever. Take the other 2.
Yeah. I feel like that's how it's going to go now. Well, like I said, we've just read what the Sainsbury's have just said in an open letter. Shout out to Dave Mordy. I reckon that's where we'll all be in a few months, doing Dave Murphy's urine therapy. Bets on, friendly bet. I reckon give it until the end of the summer holidays, and that's what we'll all be reaching for. If my crops fail, if everyone's harvest fails, because we're all not green fingers. Well, I'm not anyway. So, yeah, his town's empty on food stores as well.
Well, once the supermarkets do this, there's going to be runs on the corner shops then. So this is what you've got to understand, that if you go into your supermarket and they say you can only have 1 product or you can have 5 or a maximum of 5, the next thing they're going to do is they're going to just go to the corner shop and they're going to start stripping those out. And those corner shops are only going to stay stocked for another couple of days at most.
Before it's all gone. Yeah. Well, the one thing I can assure you is I'm going to definitely keep everyone as posted as I can on the situation coming up over the next few days and weeks, as long as the internet's on. Are you going to, what can people expect from you on your channel? Are you going to keep everyone abreast with as much as possible? I mean, what's your forecast looking like for the next week?
Well, of course, I mean, a few days ago, I mean, the UK had a different policy to the rest of the world. The rest of the world was shutting down the borders. They were stopping planes coming in. They were doing self-isolation and all this kind of stuff. And the UK was talking about herd immunity. And what they were proposing and had actually implemented, this was policy, was to infect at least 60% of the population with this coronavirus. And the idea behind that would be that those that survived would have an immunity towards it, so that if it ever came back again, then it's unlikely to be anywhere as severe, because they'd have the antibodies for it, and it would also stop it from spreading. So in theory, you know, I suppose if you look at it in theory, that could work. However, in practice, it just was impossible. I mean, 20% or so of the people that catch this are going to be in a serious or critical condition, which means that a proportion of them, perhaps 50% of them, are going to need critical care beds. And I ran the maths on it and I figured that, well, we're going to need a lot of ICU beds for that. And when I looked into how many spare beds the UK actually has, you can check that up online. There were 701 available intensive care unit beds, which meant that once you got to about 10,000 cases in the UK, those beds would be filled up. So anything past that, and they were talking about infecting 40 million people. That's what 60% of the UK population was. So they wanted to infect 40 million people, which would mean that about 8 million of them would need an ICU bed, or at least 4 million, possibly as much as 8 million. How can 701 available beds and a total of just over 4,000 cope with that? It was just an impossibility. I ran the maths, I did the figures, and then the very next day, there was a report released from London's Imperial College that advised the UK that actually the strategy that we told you to employ originally, now that we've run the figures again, we've decided that actually it could lead to a lot of deaths, an awful lot of deaths. And then the UK suddenly came to the senses and changed the policy back to the rest of the world's policy. And it's a complete embarrassment for the UK to actually have even thought of that without having. It was like, how can you not know how many beds you're going to need when you're talking about infecting 40 million people with this coronavirus, when you know how many people are going to need intensive care units and ventilations and stuff like this? It was just preposterous to even think about it. But hey ho, that's the UK for you. So yeah, I'm going to keep keep people abreast of stuff like that. Point out the bloody obvious, right? When we see things that are bloody obvious, point it out. Point out where, you know, things may be heading, you know, what to expect. You know, I'm always looking on all the alt news and stuff, getting my information from that, checking Twitter. You know, I've got lots of places that I go to sniff out this information, and you know, I'll always put it out there to my subscribers. And you know, there's no agenda behind what I do. You know, when I started talking about coronavirus, I was probably the most hated flat Earth channel out there because you know, everyone thought I was insane for what I was talking about. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I've had a lot of people, you know, going after me for that. But I assume now they've changed their mind because they've seen what's gone down.
We can relate. We can relate. You know. No, there's one thing that we can relate to is that I don't think anyone makes any friends by forewarning people. I don't think it's something that anyone thanks anyone for. I think the only thing you'll ever get thanked for when you're forewarning someone is, oh, mind out, mate, that's that. And then even then someone sometimes doesn't listen and they trip up anyway. And then they still don't thank you because you didn't say it quick enough. Does that make sense? So it's almost like you're damned either way. But I appreciate you bringing us up to date with where you're at with that, Ranty, because it's an ongoing thing. And if you are not aware that we're going live every day, Ranty's you're live every day as well, aren't you? Really?
Friday, yeah, 10:30 p.m. In the UK. I've been doing that for the past over 6 months or so. So
long.
Pretty much had my time slot there for the most part. So I tried to do it Monday to Friday. But I just wanted to say that yesterday I had a comment from somebody. Did you read that from Level Lee? Did I tell you about it?
Could you read it?
So this is from Level Lee. So I pinned his comment because he left this for me, and he said, "Hey Ranty, just wanted to say I've been put into self-isolation for 14 days since Sunday, as my young daughter fell ill on Saturday. She was not tested for the virus, but we were told it was more than likely COVID-19. Luckily, I took your advice and started prepping back in January. So obviously I was talking it back then. Good. Luckily, I took your advice and started prepping back in January. So now I've got the stuff here to at least take the edge off. Thanks for sticking to your guns and speaking your truth, because it has helped me." And to be honest, that made all the difference. Just that one comment from one person that actually went ahead and prepared. Now with 5 children, he's got 5 children because he goes on later to explain this. He's got 5 children, but he's got food in to help provide for them whilst they're all being in lockdown, which is awesome. You know, I can't be... Yeah. You know, I'm really, really chuffed with that people were listening, you know, if any, you know, some people were listening, and it's obviously helped him. So. Oh,
big time. And you know what? My mum always used to say, if you can help someone along your way, then your living will not be in vain. You know, and as I said, it's a thankless task. I know Double can relate to this as well. The last week to 10 days has been, you know, filled with us kind of just trying to gently forewarn people, and just been shot down in a blaze of glory by some people. So it is a thankless task, and I can't thank you enough for the selfless efforts you're doing, and for the selfless efforts of a good few members in the online community that have kind of focused their attention on this, because it's what's happening right now, and I don't want to be caught with my pants down, if you know what I mean. And from, you know, Double knows, there was a shift for me one night, and it just was building all night, and then, as I said to Double, I couldn't sleep that night. And I went, I can't be the only one worrying about this. And that was that week that you picked up on it, and I came up on your show, and I thought, why is it only me? In my friend circle, I was like, why am I the only one going, oh shit, we're going to get caught here? This isn't good. This really is not good. And now 2.5, 3 weeks later, I'm sitting here going, no. I'm even at the point where some of your viewers are, where I'm going, why wasn't I listening to this in January? I really wasn't on it. I just was. I knew there was a rogue wave out there, but I thought it was way out. Do you remember when I came on yours? I was like, oh, it's months away, man.
Yeah, you said September.
I did.
I said at most.
I said September to ramp this up, and I remember saying we're not going to see those big arrests till the start of November. But now that I'm seeing the newspapers telling people to quarantine already for 12 weeks, I'm going, those November arrests look like they're pretty accurate then, isn't it?
What about Dolly? I've seen somebody saying that they've tried to advise Dolly to go shopping, and now it seems that she may be too late. I don't know. Is that right?
No, I haven't heard that. Yeah, Dave said he tried to warn Dolly, but I'll speak to Dolly in the morning. It's like 1:45 now, so I'd hate to answer for her. I can't answer for her because she's not here. But I will. Dolly, I think Dolly's all right. I think she's got food. I will confirm that and get hold of Dolly tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know on my community section, or I'll prompt Dolly to let you all know when she goes live next time. So Dave, shout out to you, Dave. I'll pick up on that in the morning and see what Dolly's saying and that.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I spent those 3 days shopping for my extended family, and my close family too. So there was my mum, my dad, there was my sister, and then there was my ex-partner and my son, and none of them had prepared. None of them had anything in, and I was trying to find stuff for these guys over the week. I mean, I must have gone to about 30 different stores. I managed to get enough, I think, that it's going to last them for about 6 weeks. This is why my feeling. So for each of them, they're probably going to get a good 6 weeks, maybe more if they eke things out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I had told them though to prepare. I'd told them that this was going to happen, and they hadn't really taken the advice on. They just thought it was going to be business as normal because that's all we've ever known. It's how we've always got our food. We've just gone to the shop, and it's there. They never thought that they would go to the shop and see empty shelves.
Well, hopefully people will take a little bit of attention now and try and use due diligence as they're moving forward. I don't know what your plans are for the rest of this evening, Ranty, but me and Rich, we wanted to show everyone a couple of bits and pieces. So before we move on to that, is there any call to action that you want to give the viewers right now, between now and when they wake up tomorrow, over the next few days? What should they be paying attention to? Is there any? Obviously, I'm going to signpost them to your channel and make sure they hit the notification bell for when you go live.
Wherever you live, you need to go and you need to get whatever supplies you can get your hands on in the next 24 hours, because I feel that pretty much after that, you are almost out of time. At that point, it's going to be near enough impossible to actually find anything. So my advice would be, if you go and buy some meats or anything like that, break them up. So get yourself a joint of meat, cut it into 2 or 3 bits, put it in some cling film, stick it in the freezer, and then you've got a small portion to cook each time, so you don't have to cook the full piece in one go and then have to eat it all. Same with the bacon. If you get a pack of 20 slices, break them up, put 2 or 3 in some cling film or a freezer bag, put it in the freezer so that you're only pulling out 2 or 3 at any one time, so you can ration yourself. And you should do that with everything, your sausages, all this kind of stuff. And, if you can get hold of rice, pasta, anything like that, I definitely think you're going to struggle to get it now. But if you can get hold of them, get as much as you can. Best place to go, corner shops, you got to think of yourself now. And then what you can do, you can think of your family and things afterwards, once you've got some stuff to actually think about sharing around and providing for. That's what I've done. I've got some stuff here so that in a few weeks' time, if my family runs short, I can then go to them and provide for them. I've got a little bit extra here for them if they need it. And you need to think of that, because what's going to happen if in a couple of weeks' time you've suddenly got no food?
Correct.
You're going to be in a lot of trouble. And you don't, nobody's as generous as you think they are. If you think people are generous and that they give you their food, they're not good. You will see the best and the worst of people over the next few months. But unfortunately, most people are not as benevolent as we are, and that's just
I'm not allowed to say that word, Ranty.
Oh, because of what happened in
I've ruined so many good words by just killing it straight away. I'm really sorry about that, but I can't say that word out loud because people get really triggered. I might even have some triggered haters watching silently that might just burst into the chat room off the back of me saying the B word.
And Billy Boy put something as well. He said bottled water from the tap. Yeah. So if you get if you've got a 2-litre bottle of milk and you've used it all and it's got a cap on, rinse it out, wash it out, put some fresh water in it and put the lid back on it. You know, you can always go back to that in a couple of months' time, and you've got some water there if the fire gets tainted. You know.
Yeah, true. Nice one for that, Shane. I really appreciate that, darling. Honestly, I cannot thank you enough. You can stick around and watch the videos with us if you want. You can stay, you can go. It's up to you. We're going to change gears a little bit, and we're going to go into a couple of rabbit holes and watch some couple of bits and pieces.
Awesome.
We've saved a juicy one for the end. Go on, darling.
I'll watch you on the stream because I'll watch you on the stream because at some point I'll need to go to bed because I've got work tomorrow. So.
You need to go to sweep. I've not got work tomorrow, so I'm up late. With Richie Rich. We're going to be deeping into some rabbit holes. So again, I cannot thank you enough for sharing all that with us. I'm hoping that some of you in the chat room there got some usable information. If you want to hear more about what Ranty's talking about, go over to his channel, Ranty Flat Earth, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and pay attention to when his live streams are. You're live pretty much all the time. So yeah, thank you, darling.
And hope things work out for you as well, 007. You know, I hope that you know, things turn around over there. From what I've heard, it's not the best.
No, you know? Double, can you hear us, bro? Yeah, sorry. No, you're muted. We can't hear you, bro. Crap. Yeah, now we can.
No, we can't.
No, we can't. Shit, we can't hear you, bro. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. What the actual back? Oh, do you know what? That's not fair. I'm going to end up being here on my own at the end of this. This is just not fair. But yeah, I'm sure he was saying, nice one, bro. Thank you. So I'm just going to say it for him. Say for that, bro. Nice one for that. I'm hoping Double comes back. Come back, bro.
He will. He'll come back.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about giving free, is it electricity, water, and gas, and mortgage payments or whatever in France.
Oh,
so
really?
it'll be interesting to know whether or not they apply that here. And in America as well, they're getting $1,000 each person. That's obviously not a millionaire, but for the majority of people, President Trump's going to be giving them $1,000 to help them get through this, and it's going to be very quick as well. So we'll get it within the next week or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's one to keep on. The precedents are being set then.
Well, money seems to be no object.
I can't hear you. You're muted. It says mute. It says mute. I don't know why it's muted. Speak. Why can we not hear you?
That's very strange.
Really strange. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe when I drop, he'll be able to. Or is it because you swapped him around maybe from the corner?
No, that just happened because he came out and then came back in. It just reshuffles him around the screen. Okay, well, hopefully it will sort out. But thank you, my darling, and you're welcome back anytime.
I'll see you later.
All right, sweetie pie. Take cares. Bye. And then there was just one. So now I'm waiting for Broski to come back. And with a bit of luck, he will be able to join and you'll be able to hear some audio from him. Bro?
Hello.
That's not fair. Now I can hear you. Everything's hunky-dory. So like Ranty never got to say goodbye to you. And you tried to say goodbye to him and he didn't hear you. So I gave a little translation. I was like, here's what I thought my broski said. Safe for that, bro. Yeah, everything's all right here in Tenerife. Nice one for that. Yep, enough love to you as well, brother. And lovely to have you, Ranty. See you later. And then you come back and now we can hear you. You've got to love live streaming for this because you just couldn't make it up. When they don't want people to communicate, the cheeky monkeys get in and I don't know. I have no reason for why that happened. So again, sorry about that, bro. There's nothing more frustrating than no one being able to freaking hear what you're saying. So Ranty brought us up to speed with all of that. We've got all the coronavirus crap out of the way. We're nothing new under the sun. Microphone's really close to the phone, Rich. And everyone's hearing. Which one, top, middle, or bottom? What one do we do first? Do we do Nolly's one? Or do we do your one? Or do we do your two and then Noel's one? Or do we do Noel's one, then your two?
Let's do Noel's first.
Cool. Hi, Brian.
Let's look at Noel's first.
Do you want to give the chat room a shout out while I get it all set up?
Yeah, man. Okay.
Lovely.
All right, give me a second.
Cool. You can do both.
Two chat rooms.
Yeah. Shout out to you all, by the way. We love each and every one of you. Can't thank you enough for tuning in to us for the late night chill out. I'll give my apologies for Noel. Noel he is lagging hard. He's been up since 7 o'clock in the morning where he is, and he's got a little chukapuckle that wakes up really, really early in the morning. So he gave his apologies, bro. Okay. And he said he's lagging. So I said, it's okay. You're off the hook. Go and get a rest. So
we're still going to look at your stuff, man.
That's right, man. We're still going to look at his
Still
stuff.
going to look at your stuff.
Yeah, we are. I need to just get a quick top up of coffee while I've left you full screen. And do not use that super chat, anyone. Don't use it.
Please don't use that super chat, guys. There are PayPal links in the descriptions. It's just because Google have been such a pain, and they're not actually releasing any of the money for quite some months now.
Okay, so, get my drink. Go for it, bro.
Go and get your drink. Right, so I'm going to start at the top of Roxanne's chat. Nick GB, Amanda Young, Dividanti, sorry. Obviously Ranty, Astro King, Vertec, Kieran. How you doing, man? All of you guys. Martin, riddle me this. Let's see, Level Earth, the Max DB B. How's it going? Alfie Patchin, My View 1875. Let's see, Ronan the Voice, The Good Servant, Iger Vision. We've got some new names I'm not recognizing. Jessica Lubian, how you doing? Thank you very much, darling. God, we got loads of people. Lunderground, how you doing? 831415. Dot Michael, Dominic Morton. I'm gonna miss someone, aren't I? Who have I got in my chat room, man?
It's tough, isn't it? Because my chat scrolls down again.
Yeah,
that's a really good question,
Truth.
Rich, answer that question while we're on the chat.
Where's the question? How will this affect the weed supply line? Do you know what, Cat Scully? Massively. It's going to affect everybody massively.
Not just
what I would say is
grow it.
If you're not growing it already,
grow it.
Or you don't, if you can't grow it, if like, just get used to.
If you can't, then can. Turn a can't into I can.
Turn a can't into a can. If you do, get some seeds or something, and get yourself set up so you can grow your own. But otherwise, for myself personally, if it gets to that point where there isn't any, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. And I don't think I've already accepted that weed is not going to get me through this.
Keep talking, bro.
It's not going to get me through this. It's a luxury, man. And I bought a little stash. When it's gone, it's gone. So it's not gonna. It's not. It's all gonna be cool, man. Because all the time I'm gonna be able to just look around and remember what's going on, and it'll be like, oh yeah, well, there we go. Just got to deal with it. Yeah. How are you feeling any better? I'm not sure if I understand that question. Am I feeling better?
Yeah, remember the other day you were feeling unwell.
Oh yeah, it's just, am I feeling any better? Yeah. I thought it was saying, how am I feeling any better? Because I don't know. It's a new day. Yeah, I feel much better, man. Much better. That thing the other day when I woke up and I felt like I had the flu, like 9:30 in the evening, and that was weird. But by the end of that stream, I felt okay. I felt absolutely fine. Have you got Horlicks there, darling?
I do. Oh. Riddle me this said I was told there would be Horlicks, and Horlicks there is. Yeah, we've got Horlicks. It says on the back of a Horlicks thing, it was first developed by the brothers William and James Horlicks. Since 1876, it supported explorers on the way to the poles, nourished soldiers through the world wars, and fortified athletes in the Olympics. So I was like, okay, yeah, we'll have some of that. Thanks. So good.
I
So,
love Horlicks.
I do too.
I used to
have
drink
a
it
bit
at
of-
night. You go hot milk and Horlicks, man. You go to sleep on that. It's lovely.
Oh, do you know
Hot
what?
milk and brandy.
I'm glad I gave someone a laugh because it is good to laugh. It is good to laugh. Shout out to Riddle Me This. We've got the Horlicks on tap. And this one's, you've just got I thought I won't get the one where you've got to add milk. So I got this one and you've only got to add water to it. I've also got, this was the only one I could buy. I wanted to buy dried milk. And then I thought, okay, let me get some Marvel. That's what it's called, Marvel. Do you remember Marvel? My nan used to make a jug of it and put it in and use it as milk. But I couldn't get Marvel, so I got that. No,
Coffee white now.
it's rank. I tried it in my tea and it's just horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous.
It sounds like Coffee Mate.
Oh my
Coffee Mate was okay, but it's
Oh, actually,
good for you.
speaking of Coffee Mate, I thought, so I got it. Ovaltine's yummy, Nick. Oh my goodness. I love Ovaltine, but it's out of stock.
Ovaltine is lush.
It's lush. It's out of stock. Have you tried the
Do you know
chocolate one? Have
what's-
you tried the chocolatey malty one? Game changer.
Have you tried the Cadbury? Have you tried the Cadbury chocolate, hot chocolate?
Oh yeah. Oh, come on.
What we're talking about though, what we're talking about though is it's dreaded companies, man. Dreaded corporations, Cadbury's. Hey Truth Seeker, how you doing, man? Good. GG for truth, not gigs for truth. GG for
I'm
truth.
going to open up a little community hot drink bar. Yeah, look, Rich, we've got the chocolate.
Oh, by the way, did you know that Dave Mordy is a bit of a singer?
It's a bit of a
Singer and guitarist. I think he's a guitarist. Did you not know? And I think his daughter as well. Because he sent a link, and we went and had a listen, and he's pretty damn good, man. He's really good. Chat room. Who was there last night? Who came in and who listened? Who heard Dave Mordy last night on my chill out chat? I think we played a couple of your tracks, didn't we, Dave? Where is he? It was really good, man. Do you want to go and have a quick look on his channel?
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm reading the chat room. Sorry, I'm so distracted there. I was trying to just scroll down the chat room. Kat,
Just
good
go and
on
have a
you.
quick look on Dave's channel.
I just want to give a shout out to Kat. Guys, I don't need it. I enjoy it. If it runs out, I shall carry on. I just want to give you a fist pump there. Smashed it, Kat, because that's exactly what me and Double were saying to each other. If it runs out and we're not able to, we'll carry on. Keep calm and carry on. Because when it becomes a master of you, it becomes an ugly thing. You always need to be the master of what you're dealing with. And so I really rate that, and I respect you putting that in the chat room. Get me some Horlicks tomorrow's. Yeah, I'd love to try and find some Horlicks. Let me know where you find some, please. Billy Boy's got some Coffee Mate. And someone else said something, and that's it. I love seeing names I've never said before. Catherine O'Connell. Hi.
Catherine O'Connell.
I love.
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day, Catherine.
Big time. Happy St. Patrick's Day, sweetheart. Cat Scully. Right on. Good stuffs. Good stuffs. And who else? It might be a curb purchase with some UHT milk. If people start stocking up, that'll last ages. Nice one, Riddle Me This. Mates telling me they're buying. Mates are telling me they're buying ounces up. What the fuck? No need. It's everywhere. UK. St. A. I can get it. No problems. Dominic, shout out. operationrealness at yahoo.com.
Ross, just do me a favour.
Yes, please. I'll get back to that. I'm sorry if I've lost train of that. And I apologise to them in the chat room because I've lost train of that chat. And if you think I'm ignoring it, I've lost it. I just can't find it.
It's almost impossible to keep up with the chat, man. It's going,
I love you all big time.
It's not impossible, but it's like I mean, we're not at the level of like Lionel Lation with 1,500 people in his chat, and the chat's going crazy speed. But
That would
yeah,
give me a
it's
panic
still
attack. Honestly, that actually would give me a panic attack. But I can't thank you all enough for being here with us. We've got you know what? It's going to be a late night. It's going to be a late night. We've got stuff to show you. All right. So what is it you want me to look at?
I want you to click on Dave Mordy and go to his channel.
Hi. Okay.
I'm just giving you another shout out, Dave, because I was well impressed last night, mate.
I've got to open another tab because are you talking about YouTube?
Yeah.
Right. Davey Mordy. Lots of Daves. Sorry about all the tapping in the background there. Boom. Dave Mordy. Dave. What would you like me to play from Dave's channel?
I can't see what I can't remember what the video is. With his daughter, singing with his daughter.
Okay, what's that?
The new mix.
Dave, you in the chat room? Do you know what one he's talking about?
Yeah, he is.
Is it the new one?
It's the new one. Where's he gone? Where you gone, Dave?
Cool. Right, let's get it up. And you can soon tell me if it's not the right one. So let me add to the stream.
Where is it, Dave?
It's all right, we're going to do it. There we go. Is it this one? Rich, which one?
New song with your daughter. Which one is it? Have they taken it down?
Can you see the screen?
We watched When We Were Young last night.
Oh, crikey. I've just gone into the wrong thing. So, yeah, where are we? Which one
It's
is
not
it?
there, bro.
Is it really not there? There's one from 12 hours ago. Million Dreams. Cool.
Oh, it is Million Dreams, is it?
Wait, hold on. Stop sharing. Let me just go back, guys.
Yeah, it is. It is Million Dreams, yeah.
Okay.
New song, Me and My Daughter. That's it.
All right. Okay, so I'm sharing screen. I'm going to make sure I do it with audio this time. Just making sure I get it right. Share. Pop it in there. There we go. And here.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my home. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
And there's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we lost our mind. I don't care if they call us crazy. We can live in a world that we design.
dreams of me.
Ooh, you may be right, you may be wrong. Say that you'll bring me
To the
along.
world I see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my
eyes to see.
Every night, lying in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me. Oh, a million dreams, a million dreams. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Oh my goodness, that was beautiful, Dave. Like, absolutely beautiful. Richie's got all emotional. Look, guys, that was lovely, wasn't it? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Dave, you must be one proud papa. One proud papa. Shout out to everyone in the chat room. Tree post. Nice one, Dave. Shout out to all the Daves. Yeah, I'm trying.
That was not the song we listened to last night, Dave. That was amazing, man.
That was absolutely...
That brought me to freaking tears, buddy.
No, it was absolutely beautiful. And look, thumbs up. Go on, my son. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Love it. Wow. Talent better than X Factor. Even, yeah, I said it as well. Yep. Absolutely perfect. Look at that. Literally, I just want to try and put up all the comments on the window there, because there was a lot of love in the chat room. Absolutely beautiful. I'm just looking at all your bits and pieces in the chat room, guys. I loved it as well. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. Everyone's passing a virtual zoot around the chat room. Pass. Is everyone passing it to the left or the right? Jokes. Yeah, do you know what? I always look, I'm trying to be optimistic. Ethos. Yeah, sometimes, you know, it's just better to be optimistic and positive about things. And I think, you know, we can always look on the light side of life, as much as, you know, there's, you know, even in the face of adversity, which most of us are facing right now. Some of us, you know, are not in work already. As you heard earlier on this evening, Noel had a call from a friend who lost their job as well. And it's an ongoing thing. So I think we all need to try and find something to uplift us a little bit, and make us feel a little bit, you know, lighter in this sea of madness that we're going through right now. So yes, John Kennedy, I couldn't have said that any better myself. Russell read as well. Perfectly put. Yeah. Pat Wright said it as well. Absolutely. 00 said absolutely class. No, you're more than welcome, my darling.
Dave, Dave mentioned it was actually the Michael Jackson song that we listened to last night. And yeah, that was just as good. But this one, like that got me, man. Your daughter's voice is amazing. She's got a beautiful voice, and the two of you complement each other extremely well. I'm a bit jealous. I wish I had because there's nothing like a female vocals, man. Female vocals, they're better than male vocals, and when you got male and female together, it works so well, man. I wish there was a girl I could sing with.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe a future project, you'll maybe meet someone. You never know. But Dave, my darling, you're more than welcome. That was an absolute pleasure to sit and listen to, and I'm sure that was for a lot of people in the chat room as well. As again, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming along with us for Really Woke Reports. Chill out.
We've been going for an hour, Roxy.
Really?
We've been going for an hour and 4 minutes already. I think we should be along.
Yeah. Why are you in a rush? You're going somewhere. She going somewhere?
Well, no. No, actually, I'm not. They're not very long either, are they? They're only like
Tell you what,
15 minutes, 7 minutes.
let's have a bit of interesting interaction in the chat room, and I'm going to put
Yeah.
everyone's comments on the screen when you do this. So please do this. Tell us what time is it. I will put our comment in. It's 2:15 a.m. where we are. Double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here as well.
2:15. Okay. A.m. I want everyone to put what time it is where they are right now in the chat room, so that we get a gauge on where you are time-wise on things. Because it's 2:15 in the morning where we are. What time is it where you are? Morning, noon, night?
I don't know what it is, right? But I sort of want to put a countdown timer clock on it. You know, the dun, 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 dun. You know, it goes da 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 boo.
Yeah.
Right,
we should do
time's
that
up.
for the chat room.
What
Yeah.
time was it where you were from?
Yeah. Okay, we've got our first one. All right, yeah, I've got it wrong. It's 17 minutes past. 17. Ooh.
Well, it is now.
Yeah, it is now.
17.
Sorry. So we've got one. We've got okay. Let me catch up. One sec. Russell Red said it is. Hold on.
Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so it's 10, just gone 10. Chris Lamb, is that AM
So
or PM? I've got True Secret PM, 10 at night. 10 at night.
That's like New York, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got a few 10-17s, man.
Yeah, you're in America. You're in the States, man.
Whoa.
You're like in New York. No, they speak more like that. Where they're from over in the East, they speak more like that.
Okay, so I'm going to go back up here because I just want to get a gauge again. Hold on. So we've got a couple in the UK. We've got Catherine O'Connell in the UK. We've got Nick GB, obviously.
Catherine, I think, is in Ireland, isn't she?
Shout out to Astral Thief. Look at that. The time is now. The time is now. So we've got Russell on the East Coast. We've got Chris Lamb possibly in our country. We've got True Seeker East Coast. Faith, lovely to see you all too as well. Kat, 10-17. Billy Boy, good on you, Billy Boy. Eric De Leon, 9, 9:15 where Eric is. Cool.
Oh.
Astral Thief, an hour ahead. Cool. Dividante, nice. That's a complete
3:15 p.m.
Wow.
So that could be over in like Australia or somewhere. In the after, or no, that's too far, isn't it?
Possibly.
That's 13 hours.
I like this because it's a little bit of none. You're just getting a time, not a place.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a place. We have to guess.
Yeah.
We have to guess.
Ooh. We've got Dave Mordy and Anton on our time. We've got My View on our time as well. We've got Pat Riot on our time as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cheers. We've got Good Vibes and Good Flower 420 NJ on 10:17 p.m. We've got Victoria Abbott there.
New Jersey.
Isn't it?
NJ, New Jersey.
Another East Coaster there. Alfie Patching, Barkingham, Dagenham.
Yeah, Dagenhamshire.
Lovely.
Actually, with a name like Alfie, I would expect to be in Barking. Alfie, come here, boy. Come here.
Yeah, you share the love of Rich's life name, Alfie. So you have got a
he doesn't want to move. He's like, look, I'm laid on my bed. Will you just leave me alone?
Max
please?
DB is in India, 7:47 a.m.
747.
Is there a minute difference as well? Am I just baffled there? Hold on.
That's a bit weird, isn't it? But there is a weird difference like that in Australia as well. There's like a half an hour time difference between Cairns. Between Cairns and get a guitar out.
I was going to say the same thing. We'll get to that. Good man, Tree Poet. Good man. I'll PayPal you that 20 quid next week. Yeah, nice. Jokes. I'm joking. That wasn't a setup, Rich. I'm sorry, but he was thinking what I was thinking.
I can't sing at this time of night, man. We'd have to do that during the day.
The Ethos 217, Isabel. We've got another East Coast here as well. Redneck Rebel. John Kennedy, 9. Christopher Lees as well. Billy Boy, yeah, no, we're now moving forward with the time, aren't we? Dominic.
Yeah, it's like 2:21 now.
Oh no, it's bad, isn't it? Near DC, NYC. Shout out to you. Awesome.
New York
Europeans
City.
as well. Spot on. Oh, bless them. We love you all anyway.
we love everybody, man. Seriously. I mean, it's as cheesy as it sounds, right? I swear to God, it is sincere, man.
Big time. Nails by Hope as well. Awesome. It's
In the
lovely to see.
Appalachian Mountains.
So everyone's from
Whoa.
everywhere, pretty much. Everyone's from everywhere. So even though it's, my auntie always used to say, oh, it's after 5 o'clock somewhere. So yeah, I love that. Thank you all so much. What ones are we going to go into first, Rich?
I think we should go and see Noel's first.
Okay. It
Shout
was
out
4
Noel.
times. Okay, so we're going to do, where is it?
It's really. Oh, what's it called again?
Hold on, I need to find it. Yeah, no, it's okay. I've got it. I didn't realize I
Really
actually,
graceful. Really graceful.
Did I actually do that? That's so funny. Sorry. And we chose the one that we were going to do, right? That one that we both said, yeah, that one. Okay, right. So yeah, we're going to jump into some rabbit holes with you. One of which Noel gave us a heads up for a channel, and we saw one, and we're literally just going to delve into it with you. We saw it, and it was the one that both drew our eyes, and we were like, "Oh, we should look at that." So we haven't seen this. We haven't looked at it, but Noel recommended this channel, so we're going to have a little look at it. And it was the only video that we both kind of drew to first, didn't it? So we're going to bring you along with this. So make sure you're comfortable. Do you have yourself a beverage? Are you sitting comfortably? It's not too long a video, actually. It's only about 22 minutes. And we will keep an eye on the chat room as well while we're going. And Rich, chat room, me, if something kind of comes up that you feel you want to discuss before we move on, you're more than welcome to do that, Rich. I will now screen share and pop it on.
I like this.
Starting good. It looks like my initials in the left-hand corner, RG, but it's not.
So I like that perspective. I like this song.
Hey, Internet friends. You've probably heard this saying, time is a flat circle, that history cannot truly be measured by moments, centuries, or even millennia, but in cycles, each cycle representing a seemingly endless repetition of space and time, the infinite loop, forever spinning in the continuum unless a great change occurs. Which is why today we're going to talk about a cycle of decadence, decay, and destruction. A story of the Old Testament that's much more than some words printed on paper. Archaeological and geological evidence suggests the total destruction of these cities actually occurred. So let's discuss a whole new set of losers, a rather degenerate variety who signed, sealed, and were delivered straight to their destiny. The losers' history of Sodom and Gomorrah. When I was a child, I loved nothing more than a good story. One in which I could be immersed, imagining myself as one of the characters, watching the scenes play out across my mind long after the last words are spoken. But somehow that sense of wonder and curiosity never translated to Sunday school or Bible study. The imagination was replaced by dread because those meant to teach the lessons from the good book managed to relay the most boring, stuffy, and difficult to understand version possible. The opposite is true, of course. The Bible is full of scandals, graphic depictions, and life lessons. And for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. So let me set the scene in the style of Charles Dickens by telling you a tale of two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah. We're starting with the book of Genesis, the first book of the Bible, but we've got to fast forward through the creation of the heavens and the earth, and all the apple and garden business, and slightly past the Great Flood. And here we arrive at Abraham, a man who was called by God to pack up and leave his home to claim a new nation. Abraham is told one day by God that the towns of Sodom and Gomorrah, as well as a few of their neighboring towns, were going to be destroyed for their wickedness. Abraham asked God to hit pause on that thought, saying that there's surely some righteous, good-hearted folks to be found there. After all, Abraham's nephew, a guy named Lot, and his family lived there. So God strikes a deal with Abraham that if he can find a certain number of folks of the non-wicked variety, then the cities will be spared. To fulfill his end of the bargain, God sends two of his angels to go find Abraham's nephew. But to the angels' surprise, it's not Lot and his family who initially greet them, but rather a mob of obnoxiously vulgar and threateningly forward individuals. While it seems like a rather extreme reaction from the mob to immediately swarm the angels and demand to copulate with some strange flesh, it's mentioned earlier in the book of Genesis that the sons of God walked the earth and had sex with regular old women, and these women bore children. The Bible establishes that Sodom was a well-known place where the fallen angels would go and have sex with humans, leading to genetic impurity amongst the population. The fallen angels did this because it delighted them, knowing it would infuriate God and lead to the damnation of his creation. However, the angels who came to visit Lot weren't there for any funny business. They were heavenly messengers there to deliver God's message. The angels had initially planned to spend the night in the town square, but after their welcome from the townspeople, Lot was able to convince them to spend the night inside his house, which didn't make the mob too happy. Not at all. Gathering around Lot's home, they demanded to know about the angels who visited Lot and ordered him to bring the angels outside so that the mob could have sex with them. In a classic Old Testament twist, Lot walked outside and offered up his two daughters to the mob, but they were insulted by this offer and proceeded to threaten Lot. They wanted to ravish his guests, regardless of if his guests were willing or not. The angels weren't all about that. In fact, they teleported Lot back inside his home and struck the mob outside with blindness so they couldn't locate the door. The angels asked Lot if he had any other family living in town, and advised if he did to round them up and hightail it out of there because things were about to pop off, which is to imply that no more decent people within the city could be located. The area was consumed by sexual depravity and moral repugnance. As a result, God intended to destroy such an abomination. Lot warned his extended family, but they thought he was playing a prank or something, because they didn't leave the city with Lot, his wife, and his two daughters. Lot and his family were lollygagging, so the angels had to transport them out of the city and set them down, in what very much sounds like another instance of teleportation. The angels warned the family to hide in the mountains and not look back, otherwise they would be consumed. Lot didn't want to go to the mountains, though. He wanted to go to a nearby town to wait out the apocalypse. So the angels basically said, okay, whatever. The angels were growing impatient. They were on the clock. God rained down fire and brimstone, otherwise known as burning sulfur, over Sodom and Gomorrah and other towns found within the plain, destroying all life there. The people living in the cities, as well as any vegetation and abundance in the land. Even though she was warned not to, Lot's wife looked back at all the destruction as they fled, and she turned into a pillar of salt. Abraham witnessed Sodom and Gomorrah engulfed by fire, and said the scene was like smoke rising up from a furnace. So to summarize, these cities were chock full of such twisted and immoral people that God decided they had to be destroyed. But there was a redemption clause that was fully pursued but to no avail. The mob of Sodom and Gomorrah treated their guests like new warm bodies in the prison shower, waiting for the angels to drop their bar of soap. And when rejected, the townspeople intended to violently assault Lot and rape his guests. Later in the Bible, the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah are expanded upon, explaining that the people were prideful, self-absorbed, and delighted in cruelty. The story of Sodom was never just about normal vanilla intercourse between men and women. Basically, these cities were comprised of a hedonistic group who cared little about consent and even less about the well-being of others. Their sense of entitlement, lack of self-control, and unbridled lust reduced the population to nothing more than ash and sulfur. The me generation was no more. A tactical nuke of sorts took them out. Lot's story ends rather uncomfortably. His wife died, and he and his daughters hid out in a smaller nearby town, only to escape to the mountains and live in a cave. It seemed like everyone else in the world was dead since they'd just witnessed their home and everyone in their town incinerated. And with no other viable males around, and in an attempt to preserve humanity, Lot's daughters devised an incestuous plot to get Lot drunk and have sex with him. And so both of Lot's daughters became pregnant with their father's child.
Enjoy being young, guys.
Where's my zipper frame?
What the heck did I just say?
With the concept of losers' history revolving around the idea that history is written by the victors, therefore implying that the history you're taught in school is not even close to the full story, it would be disingenuous of me to turn around and say with confidence that the Bible, the most read book in all of history, remained untouched throughout centuries of translations, especially in the clutches of the corrupt church. The church has demonstrated a pattern of weaponizing religion and using it as a form of control. A lie by omission is still a lie, and there's evidence that specific books have purposely been omitted from the biblical canon. These books contain important events and context, like the explanation of why God decided the Great Flood was morally necessary, with all the genetic impurity and consequences of hybridization, as well as the story of how the angels fell from heaven. In this example, the context for the flood can be found in the book of Enoch. Enoch being a patriarch of the Old Testament and a man who walked with God, and great-grandfather to Noah. Enoch is referenced in the New Testament as well. Jesus even quotes Enoch, yet the book is left out of the Old Testament. Why? It was reported that up until the 4th century that the Book of Enoch was in circulation, only to be removed from the Christian canon and almost lost altogether until the 17th century. Corruption of the church should absolutely be acknowledged, especially when people pledge to navigate their lives by sermons and teachings. Sometimes those people become frustrated with the blatant hypocrisy of their teachers, and in modern times have turned their back on Christianity and looked for truth in another religion called science. So what does science have to say about the losers of Sodom and Gomorrah? Science has routinely demonstrated that biblical figures were real and the events described really did happen. There is actual scientific and historical evidence that proves that the towns of Sodom and Gomorrah did indeed exist, as well as the smaller surrounding cities, and were absolutely destroyed almost instantly, as portrayed in the book of Genesis, within the same time frame depicted in the Bible. Scientists, historians, and biblical experts have all maintained that the actual location of Sodom and Gomorrah was in or around the area of the Dead Sea, a salt lake between Israel, Jordan, and the West Bank. The Dead Sea is the lowest point on Earth at 1,400 feet below sea level. At 33% salinity, the Dead Sea cannot support normal types of life that are usually present in large bodies of water. Archaeologists have discovered artifacts in this area that suggest a fertile plain once existed there, one which sustained a prosperous civilization, which came to a sudden and abrupt end around 3,700 years ago. Excavations in the area unearthed pottery fragments that were melted into glass, meaning that the crystals in this pottery were formed in literally less than a second as a result of temperatures that would rival the surface of the sun. Not only that, but scientists noted evidence of a tidal wave of boiling hot salt that blanketed a projected 193 square mile radius that experienced high force winds, the combination of which is said to have instantly obliterated an estimated 40 to 60,000 people before they were ever able to register what happened to them. While the Bible describes the cataclysmic event as God raining down fire and brimstone from the sky, both biblical experts as well as scientists have debated on the exact cause of total collapse. Theories include volcanic activity, earthquakes, a giant meteor, and even talk of thermonuclear explosion, which is particularly interesting within the context of the punishment of our losers, as the story and scientific evidence does support the phases of a blast, which would have been a flash of light, a pulse of thermal energy, then a pulse of nuclear radiation, followed by a fireball, an air blast, then of course, radioactive fallout, Plus, that would explain why the angels ordered Lot's family to hide behind the mountains, to shield themselves while God destroyed the cities. And when Lot's family didn't heed this order and Lot's wife stopped to look back at the destruction, she ultimately perished. That kind of instruction and consequence from not following it doesn't seem in line with volcanic activity or earthquakes, but you could make the argument for meteor explosion or even something as wild as a thermonuclear blast. The Bible says, after God rained down fire and brimstone meaning burning sulfur, the earth was rendered useless in the aftermath, which is reflected in the terrain bordering parts of the Dead Sea, where areas are covered in layers of ash, and sulfur balls with 96 to 98% purity are embedded in the terrain. Sulfur balls of this purity have not been discovered anywhere else in nature except for this location. In sulfur this pure burns hotter than hot. There's quite a bit of speculation as to the exact location of Sodom and Gomorrah within the Dead Sea region. To search for these cities, an English archaeologist who had been studying ancient maps and satellite images led a group of researchers equipped with diving specialists in a submarine down to the bottom of the Dead Sea, where they discovered the remains of an ancient settlement, with traces of structures under all the layers of salt. However, the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were a metropolis, and a collection of cities that spanned a great region. So the scorched structures with distinct right angles found far away from the water likely belonged to these cities as well, buried under layers of ash with discernible features like windows and doors cut into the stone cliffs. There is even the ashen ruins of what appears to be a man-made sphinx, located at the foot of the ancient Masada fortress. The sphinx is a pagan idol with a woman's head and a lion's body, a lion human, otherwise known as a hybrid. So you don't need a submarine or a dive team to see that the events portrayed in the Bible actually did occur. You could literally power walk over there today and see it for yourself. The balls of pure sulfur and the remains of a civilization that ended abruptly. Regardless of how the Sodomites met their end or specifically where the towns were located, the point is that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is not a fairy tale. It actually happened and was recorded in the most read book of all of history for a reason, as a warning. The thing about the past is that it really never goes away, no matter how far down it's buried. It doesn't matter if the past is hidden under layers of salt or ash, smoldering in some kind of book-burning ritual, crumpled up and tossed in a Vatican trash can, or censored on YouTube. During World War II, the Allies bombed the town of Hamburg, which history books would later refer to as the Hiroshima of Germany. Clearly inspired by the concept of biblical destruction, the Allies named this attack Operation Gomorrah. The bombing of Hamburg created a huge firestorm and a tornado of fire that reportedly killed nearly 40,000 civilians and injured over 100,000 more. From the ashes of World War II, the United States sprung forward into an era of prosperity and opportunity. The world was at peace for the most fleeting of moments. But tendrils of the past crept into the optimistic outlook of America's future. Wrapping around the New World built on top of lands as old as any. But this world was new to its inhabitants because there was hope. But unfortunately, evil still persisted, as it was not defeated in either of the world wars, or in the wars that would follow, as the United States soon found itself in a cycle of endless war. The same symptoms that plagued great empires of the past began to present as cultural decline. Ideological subversion, as well as the media's influence on society, has played a role in this. If you turned on the television and watched the news for an hour today, you'd probably see accounts of violence, terrorism, and war play out across your screen, only to be rivaled by the hypersexualization of stars and idols, and topped off with a few feel-good gender inversion stories. If you're lucky, you might catch a story on mothers empowering their children by dressing them in drag, and possibly some footage of those children dancing at bars while adults throw money at them. I mean, do you reckon they had a yield drag queen story hour in Sodom and Gomorrah? It's said that Sodom and Gomorrah's main sin was sexual immorality, and folks these days will make parallels to wherever they deem as a cesspool of sin and degeneracy. From Hollywood to Las Vegas to Washington, D.C., cities where folks don't even try to hide their sins because they're simply not ashamed. History tells us that when leadership of a society is unable to set a good moral example, the subjects of that leadership will follow suit. One of the biggest stories last year was the alleged suicide of Jeffrey Epstein, owner of an Israeli-operated blackmail island known for sexual depravity, where it was revealed that global elite, including high-level government officials, figureheads, and influential celebrities, had visited. How does this around-the-clock news story reflect on society as a whole? Does it reflect strength or decay? Of course, you don't have to look to these cities to find those who are struggling with self-control and addiction, particularly of the sexual variety. The World Wide Web and mass media has normalized adult entertainment viewership, and it's so popular that in 1 year, more than 5.5 billion hours of adult entertainment was viewed on the internet's most popular adult website. To put that in perspective, that's over 600,000 years of content viewed over the span of a year. Top searches on the internet's most popular adult website include incest categories, which are always being promoted to viewers. And if they made an adult film out of the cave scene in Lot's story between his daughters, it'd probably do pretty well on there. All joking aside, a number of adult actors and actresses are in the business because of human trafficking. So the idea of finding pleasure from watching someone at what could be the lowest point in their life totally encapsulates the energy of Sodom and Gomorrah. God didn't destroy the losers of Sodom and Gomorrah. They had already destroyed themselves way before the fire and brimstone rained down. They destroyed each other by being selfish, only caring about themselves and their carnal desires. And they destroyed their souls by allowing spiritual forces of evil to enter their hearts and minds. Not only that, but the subtext of this story is that the Sodomites essentially allowed fallen angels to set up shop in their cities. And these fallen angels wanted nothing more than to subvert God's creation. They already got metaphorically spanked by God during the days of Noah, when the fallen angels were impregnating human women, resulting in genetic impurity and all these weird babies covered in red hair, or babies who were born with 2 rows of teeth who grew up to be giants. Like the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun. In these days, genetic impurity has been taken to a whole new level with the transhumanist movement. With the promise of a stronger, healthier, and longer existence, science and technology is marketed to eager customers under the guise of a seemingly benevolent attempt at immortality. Science has the solution to the biggest problem society faces, the inevitability of death. The Bible says that man was created in God's own image. But what will be left after generations of genetic manipulation? This video is not describing where the losers of Sodom and Gomorrah went wrong, so that we may turn around and judge each other, but instead judge for ourselves and our families what is righteous and what is not. After all, one loser's history is another loser's future. Unless...
Shalom, my name is Or, which is the Hebrew word for light. If you already knew.
What do you think, internet friends? You know I always look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and supporting my channel on Patreon. Bye!
I'll stop it there and we will have a little chit chat. I'm not sure I agree with everything, but it was good. And we can hear the audio in the background, bro. But I'm not sure I agree with everything, but
I haven't got any audio in the background. I haven't got any audio in the background.
Oh, there was an echo there like there was. That was weird. Weird. What did you think?
I liked it. I liked the way it was put together. I thought it was quite clever. I like the way she split it as well with the, you know, she was quite thoughtful with the where she put the adverts, and she put a little, you know, like a part 2, part 3 and everything. That's, and everybody does that with their videos when they put them together. You know, people that monetize, they just, the videos just go in and it just sort of cuts it, doesn't it? It'll just suddenly cut off and go. And that was done a little bit more professionally. I liked that. She sounds cute, and I kind of liked a lot of what she was saying. I didn't, and then I was reading the chat, so I wasn't able to fully focus on what she was saying, you know. So I think I might have missed some things.
I agree with Faith. I liked a lot of it, but I'm not sure about all of the bits and pieces that she was saying accurate. But I really did like the way she put it together, and the content was succinct. So yeah.
I mean, the
I
parallel
think,
that I would draw would be the comparison that I would draw to the situation. Why I think that video was a good one to watch was because I know people don't disagree, but I am forever an optimist, and I refuse to believe that absolutely everybody in politics and everybody that's trying to control us is bad. I refuse to believe that, and in that case, that means that Trump has to be the good guy, because Hillary's very, very clearly not good at all in any way. So, what we're being asked to do, Trump's standing by God. Trump's brought God back into the equation, whereas all the other two presidents tried to push him out. He's actually bringing him back, and bringing God back to America, it seems a little bit, and that obviously is triggering a lot of people. But it's like we're being told to get out of the way and look, like we're expecting up to 93 days of darkness or whatever, so the potentially getting completely locked off at home from all information, and just having to sit tight at home and whatever might happen. It is like they want to clean up. They want to clean up. They want innocent people to get out of the way so they can go and clean up. That's how I'm choosing to perceive it. If it turns out to be a different way, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And don't worry, I'm bloody prepared for it. I'm not stupid.
Hillary Flintstone needs a noose, Chris Lamb said. Dave Murphy was talking about that last year, about Noah's Ark being found in Turkey. In politics, if you get out of place power, you've most
Ron
likely
Wyatt
been
found Ron Wyatt found Noah's Ark. Ron Wyatt found Noah's Ark, and actually, I was going to send you a link to Ron Wyatt's video about Sodom and Gomorrah, but Ron Wyatt is extremely Christian, biblical. It's a very, very religious. All of his work is very religious.
Right.
He's made a video about finding the Ark of the Covenant, and it's an extremely interesting video. And I've got to be honest with you, I've found it very difficult not to believe him. The man's so sincere, you can tell, right? And when he stood up afterwards, and all of his speech, when he was talking about it afterwards, all of his talks afterwards, you could see the emotion that he would well up with emotion when he was recounting the scene, and it was real. It was real emotion. And then on his deathbed, he basically backed up everything he said. When all of his family all back up to the hilt, he had a really, really weird experience.
And maybe we'll line that up for the next one then, bro.
Do you know, I think it would actually be worthwhile people watching, because there was a sample that was taken from the corner of what they found, and that was tested. It was seen to be human blood, but it only had 24 chromosomes.
Oh, crikey. Maybe we should line that up.
23 XX, and 1 Y chromosome.
Okay. So
apparently it was done it's been done a couple of times in labs. So, but there were a couple of different channels that have reported on it.
Okay. I'm gonna, for the chat room just now, I'm gonna pop the link in the chat for the video that we just showed. No, I won't. Not if I don't copy and paste it, I won't.
We would encourage people to go over. Please go over and watch the video over there on her channel, and maybe take a look at some of her other videos as well, because she looks like she's got some interesting work there. Maybe give her a sub.
Yeah, I'll pop her link in the chat for you all, so give that a click. Which one would you like me to do first? The Robert one or the other Robert one. Which one?
Well, are we going to do the X22?
That was last, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do that
Oh,
last.
right. So yeah. If we're still going to do that,
Mhm.
then I think Alchemist, the alchemy one.
Okay. Coming up. Okay, guys.
So just before we go into it, the reason I chose this one was because we were lied to about alchemy.
Mm.
When I was a kid, I was taught that alchemists were people that were trying to turn lead into gold. And that's not what alchemy is. Alchemy is about changing energy. So we are all potentially alchemists. The way I understand it is, you get somebody comes up to you, right? They walk up to you and they're up in your face, screaming and shouting and rah. Let's say you're in a situation in a supermarket and you've got you want to go and get some water, and somebody else comes up and grabs the water and screams and shouts at you, and you've got a choice on how you react to that person, what you do with that energy that you get from that person. You either reflect it back to them, you get angry yourself and you reflect it back, and the situation escalates, or you turn that anger into your own. You're then scared and you run away or whatever, or you absorb that anger and you put your hand on the shoulder of the person and say, "Whoa, it's okay, man. Don't worry, it's all right. There's no need to get angry. Right, you take the water, man. It's cool." And you diffuse the situation. So there you've been an alchemist, and you've turned that anger around inside yourself, and what you've given back is compassion and love, and that's what alchemy is for me. I think there's a much more scientific way as well. They actually do things with energy, but for us as human beings, as just walking around, trying to be, I think that's what it's meant. That's what we are. We're alchemists. You're muted, babe.
I will share the screen now and we will take a look. Here we go.
I don't think that's how Robert talks about it, by the way.
Okay. Coolio, bro.
That's Robert there. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy, man.
What does your favorite anthropologist like to do in LA when it gets too hot? Cool off with a swim, of course. I was actually on my way to the J. Paul Getty Museum today, as I'm told there's an exhibit including some alchemists that I wanted to see. J. Paul Getty was a British-born oil tycoon named the richest living American in 1957 by Fortune magazine, while the 1966 Guinness Book of World Records named him the world's richest private citizen. So let's go have a look, shall we? Long shrouded in secrecy, alchemy is now recognized as the ancestor of modern chemistry. Alchemists were notorious for attempting to make synthetic gold, but their goals were far more ambitious: to transform and bend nature to the will of an industrious human imagination. For scientists, philosophers, and artists alike, alchemy seemed to hold the key to unlocking the secrets of creation. Alchemists' effort to discover the way the world is made have had an enduring impact on artistic practice and expression around the globe. Inventions born from alchemical laboratories include metal alloys for sculpture and ornament, oil paints, effects in glassmaking, and even the chemical baths of photography. The mysterious art of alchemy transformed visual culture from antiquity to the industrial age, and its legacy still permeates the world we make today. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, the manufacture of pigments and colored inks used for painting and writing manuscripts was part of the science of alchemy, a precursor of modern chemistry concerned with the transformation of matter. Moreover, some artists' interests went beyond the practical chemical operations involved in the production of pigments as they became involved in the more spiritual and theoretical aspects of alchemy. Alchemy employed a systematic set of symbols and technical terms commonly recognized by laboratory technicians and natural philosophers alike to indicate and record scientific operations, formulas, and ingredients. The physical world was composed of 4 elements, while the heavens included a 5th. Quintessence, or ether, is the 5th element that binds the 4 classical elements, water, fire, earth, and air, together. It is the strongest and most powerful element, and in the late 19th century, physicists postulated that ether permeated all throughout space. In Greek mythology, it was thought to be the pure essence that the gods breathed, as alchemists sought to isolate this quintessence, or 5th element, and incorporate it within medicine and elixirs. In the following short excerpt, Manly P. Hall describes the difference between chemistry and alchemy.
And it seems that from a very far back, there has descended a double concept of chemistry. Physical chemistry having to do with those areas of knowledge which are now considered scientific, and spiritual chemistry, which was definitely a sacred art. In practice, what is the difference in these two systems? I think probably Paracelsus summarized this rather well when he pointed out that the alchemical transmutation was impossible unless the alchemist himself was in the process of transformation. He could not sit back with his bottles and test tubes and retorts and consider his art simply another way of advancing chemistry or a way of replenishing his own financial needs. So we find, as is today, that chemistry is largely dominated with the profit concept, the idea of wealth. We are making all kinds of chemical experiments for various reasons, some of them very good, some of them very dangerous, but always with a certain concept of return in material wealth for the good or the evil that is done. So that largely chemistry is a material art dominated by scientific inquiry and not in any way involving any necessary spiritual overtones. The chemist does not have to be a person of great faith. He does not have to have had a metaphysical experience. He does not need to believe in metaphysical or mystical procedures. He is simply working with physical tests and physical texts. The alchemist, on the other hand, is an entirely different type of person. In the history of alchemy, as it is descending to us, most of the alchemists were very pious people, deeply religious, and convinced that their advancement of science was a spiritual contribution to the well-being of society. The alchemist was concerned with the advancement of his own inner life. Jacob Boehme used a number of alchemical terms in his mystical writings, and these have been very confusing to modern students of his work. But actually, the use given by Bamey in most cases probably the original intended usage, namely that it is all part of a great system of human regeneration.
My name is Robert Sepper. I'm an author, producer, and anthropologist. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great Labor Day weekend, and I'll see you again soon.
All right, that was Robert Sepper with that video. And Dob, I believe you've got another one from Robert that you are going to show us as well. I'm just making sure that the link for that is in the chat room for you now. So I'm posting that link. That link I've just posted in the chat room is the content that we've just shown you from Robert's channel. I enjoyed
we'll make
that.
sure that the links.
Ancient Art of Alchemy.
We'll make sure the links afterwards. Over the next, like by tomorrow, the links should be in the description as well. So
yeah,
I want to
say it's a
direct
nice
people over to Robert's channel.
Nice distraction or escape.
Right now, obviously, Robert didn't mention energy or emotion or anything at all, but he's talking about spiritual stuff. And when he was talking about the ether, the thing that binds everything together, that's what they thought it was. The ether was the stuff that binds all the elements together within this realm. Now, for me personally, because I think that manifestation is through emotion, and that it's through emotion that we're going to fix this world. It's through emotion. I think that it was because they speak about love, unconditional love, the unconditional love of God all the time in the Bible. I think that that's the power. That's what the Creator used, was like, I don't think we understand what unconditional love is. I don't think we understand the power that radiates when somebody, you know, is doing something selflessly, compassionately, out of, you know, of unconditional love for a fellow human being. That's powerful, man. And I don't think we understand how powerful that is. And I think that I really do think that this fifth element is linked to emotion.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Sorry, I'm like there agreeing with you, and I'm like, yo, you can't hear me. Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier on, and trying to think of ways that I can kind of communicate how important it is that we work on ourselves and stuff like that, because we already know what the problem is. So we need the solution.
The problem is hate, hate and fear, and all the bad things.
Cheers, my darling.
Envy.
Can we give a shout out to the chat room, if that's all right with you?
Big shout out to the chat room, man. Yeah. Go for it.
Alfie Patching, Dave Mordy, lovely to see you still interacting in the chat room. Maggie Ray, lovely to see you in the chat room as well. She said, everything around the museum burned last summer, but the firefighters prevented it from burning in orders of the governor. Night, folks. Night to you, Chris Lamb. Lovely to see you in the chat room tonight. Thank you for all of your interactions. Have a good rest. I hope we've been able to give you a bit of a distraction, a bit of escapism this evening, in some way, shape or another. Dave Mordy, there's something there when we die. I used to have a deja vus daily. I'm very spiritual. Since a kid, I talk to the Creator daily, not God on a fluffy cloud. And Cat Scully as well, bless you. Have a good sleep, darling. Have a good rest.
Yeah, good night, Cat.
And to Lee L, lovely to see you in the chat room as well. Further up, we've got Truth Seeker as well. And Russell all mentioned in the Book of Enoch as well. Christopher Lees. And John Kennedy. Riddle Me This. Faith. Brilliant. Lovely to see you all in the chat room as well.
We've got
Major
Alfie Patching, King Xenomorph, Catherine O'Connell.
Awesome. Lovely
Tree Poet, if
all.
he's still around.
Brilliant. Are we all right to show them the next video that you had lined up? We are beings of light.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Rich is like, no.
I think we should go to X22.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do that.
I don't think we should. I don't think we should use.
I'm on it.
I think everybody should go to Robert's. Go to Robert's channel, right? And if we can put the link for the other video in the.
I've done that already. Everyone's got it in the chat room.
Yeah, if you guys go and watch that video another time, after this or whatever, put it in your watch later or something. We are beings of light. It's just really, really interesting. I'm loving Robert Sepper because he's a trained anthropologist. He's somebody that was fully indoctrinated, and his own discernment has led him away from the official narrative, and it's good to see. He's opened his mind up to some things, so I enjoy watching the guy.
Nice
I'm
one.
sub to him, obviously.
Nice one. So we're gonna end off with something a little bit more serious, but still, for some of you in the chat room.
Thanks to Maggie Ray for shouting this one out as well.
Yeah,
because she sort of pointed us to in this way, but you already know about it. But she gave a shout out, didn't she?
And that
Roxanne already knew, Maggie.
Yeah, you had me at hello with this one because I'm already subbed, and I was like, I only need one excuse to play these kind of videos to people. Like, let's get it on. Like, I'll sit up here until 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'll play you some more. We can go to And We Know as well. Should
we put a disclaimer out?
Go on.
Well,
you know what? If you get to play this one, can I? Because I didn't suggest any videos really, apart from the ones that have been requested. So
you didn't. You didn't actually. You didn't suggest any. Why don't you suggest a video?
Get at least one shout.
Go on,
right,
Rox.
right,
You should definitely.
Well, I don't really.
Sorry, babe.
Do this. It's all good, bro. It's all good. I didn't even think of it myself, so no need to apologize. You see, my ones are kind of extensive. My ones are like 50 minutes long, and it's. But, you see, okay. Let me just go there because let me just line it up so that we can get past the first bit. Stop trying to listen to my conversation, Siri. She needs to butt out. Okay, sorry. I just need to do this real quick so I can line it up. Because if I'm being honest with you, the one that I would recommend is the one that I'm going to go sleep watching tonight. Because it's only just come out, and I need to just correlate a couple of things for myself as well. So that would be my recommendation. So that would be after this. So this one here is a little 30-minute video. We won't play the whole 30 minutes. I'm going to play you a little bit of it. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, I would definitely give them a sub and discern, take bits out of it that you can. Well, I would say take bits out.
Take what resonates.
It's all of it that resonates with me, mainly. Apart from the programming that is still not left certain people, because obviously some people are coming to everything, and the ball's going to be the last one for them, innit? The ball's actually going to be the last one for some people. Some people, they've left the ball and then come up with all these other, red balls.
Do you think it'd be all right for me to say this? Like we're not a channel that want to sit here and go, "We told you so." Like, but we've been saying for a few weeks that this thing's coming in. Like all the things that we talked about have all ended up happening. So I'm just saying, like, eventually, some people are going to be saying, "Do you know what, man? We're sorry. It's not a globe."
Smashed it for that one as well, yeah. And you're right, absolutely. Colin, great to see you still here. I know that this may not. I've just said great to see you here, and I don't want half of you to leave 5 minutes into this. Just remember the first time you were shown something that went against the globe, and you'd never been shown that before, and you like not really up for watching it because it just didn't really sit very well with you. I would just urge you to watch this just with an open mind. Yeah, I'm not asking you to be brainwashed. But yeah, shout out to Maggie Ray. No, we're watching Maggie Ray's suggestion, but I'm already subbed.
Oh, we are going to watch Maggie Ray's.
We definitely are. I'm getting everyone braced. Just buckle in your seatbelts. 5-point harness. Strap in.
This isn't about the globe, is it? This isn't about the globe.
No, but it's still it's like the globe. It's a dark red pill because when you
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're saying. This isn't.
Yeah.
We're not trying to. This
Still
isn't
chilling
about
out, man.
the
Still
globe
chilling
light.
out. Still chilling out.
This
but it's
this is a chill out, but this is a red pill.
dark red pill.
This is yeah.
Dark
This is
red
a
pill.
number 17
This
type.
channel is full of dark red pills. This channel is full of red pills that no one wants to know about. Real talk. Shout out Maggie Ray.
Man.
Okay, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna add the stream. We're gonna do it now, Richie. And then it's the wrong one. No, there we go. Right, boom. Here we go.
Economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Trump and the Patriots, they are preparing to show the people who the true enemy is. This is an operation to expose those individuals that are treasonous, committed crimes against humanity. And I do believe that this is the storm. This is phase 1 of the storm. And I do believe the operation at hand right now is to remove the power of certain operatives so they cannot push any more events. We'll be talking about how all of this is going to play out. But first, let's talk about General Michael Flynn. Catherine Herridge, she tweeted out the following. Read, Defense still seeks original 2017 FBI summary at General Flynn interview about his Russia contacts. FBI record is called a 302. At Sidney Powell, questions government claim original not in their possession, suggesting it does not exist. Judge says things happen. Documents are lost. Now, we know that Trump came out and said, listen, the documents are lost and I might have to pardon General Michael Flynn. But I do believe because of optics, there's going to be a huge amount of pressure on the judge to have the Mueller Department of Justice individuals, these prosecutors, to produce something or drop the case and issue an apology to General Michael Flynn. Because remember, he wants to change his plea deal. He's not going to plead guilty. He's going to plead innocent, which means the Mueller Department of Justice, these prosecutors, they have to produce the evidence. They don't want to produce the 302 because this is exculpatory evidence, and it will show that Flynn is completely innocent. And I do believe that Trump is putting pressure on the judge, and I believe the judge is going to have to make a call, because if you can't show anything and documents are lost, you have no case. And I believe for optics, I think it has to be dismissed. And I believe we are headed in that direction. Now, because of what is happening with coronavirus and everything else, it seems that the Supreme Court is going to cancel oral arguments for March, which will delay the hearing on Trump's tax returns and pretty much all the other cases for the House. Remember, they want the testimony of Don McGahn. They want the grand jury information. They want the tax returns. All of that is coming to a screeching halt because the Supreme Court, they are taking a leave right now because of what is happening with coronavirus. Now, remember, the justices were scheduled to hear oral arguments from March 23rd to the 25th and March 30th to April 1st. But none of this is going to happen. And of course, are they going to resume all of this later on? Maybe not, because with this storm, with what's coming with the investigations, they might not even have to do it. Now, down at the border, Trump, his administration, they have announced a $175 million contract to build barriers along the southern Texas border in areas where no border wall previously existed. So Customs and Border Protection, in conjunction with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they announced that they received the $175 million to build roughly 15 miles of border wall in the Rio Grande Valley sector, an area located in Stark County, Texas. And once again, because of what is happening with this new event, it's showing that strong immigration policies, very important, showing that a wall is also very important. And we're starting to see many other countries follow exactly what Trump was doing. We'll be getting into that in just a moment. But first, remember there was this coronavirus response bill that was brought up in the House. We know that Pelosi stuffed in.
Mrs. Evans has switched her money on with the stocks and
things about abortion. She wanted money for this. We know what that was for. That was to money launder these funds out into the organization, bring it back into their pockets, because we know that Trump has cut off their funding. And it seems that she removed that, but there's still a problem with this bill. It seems that she's trying to work this out with Steve Mnuchin, because there are still major differences. And this is a huge problem, because the House cannot send the bill to the Senate until they approve of the technical changes. And Representative Louis Gohmert, he insists on reading the changes. Rightfully so. He should read it. He wants to read the 87 pages to see what's in it. Remember back with Obamacare when Pelosi was out there? You need to pass it so you can read it. Louis Gohmert is saying, no, I want to read it before I pass it, because I want to see if you're stuffing anything into this. And we should never forget that Pelosi held up the vote on the coronavirus a few weeks ago so the Democrats can run ads against Republicans on Super Tuesday. So he wants to read this. Other people should read it before we move this along. And I'm sure there's something in there that was stuffed in at the last minute. And we'll have to see how this all plays out. Now, very interestingly, Margot Cleveland, she was looking at this entire travel ban, the coronavirus, what the academics were telling Trump. And this is what she tweeted out. I'm reading the House testimony, RE coronavirus, and had no idea how ballsy @real Donald Trump decision to ban travel from China was. Apparently, the bureaucrats ran academic models on the scenario, and those concluded travel should not be banned. Cuccinelli recommended ban travel anyway, but told Trump what modeling said. Trump banned travel from China and saved untold number of lives. Tell me any Democrat would have made that call. Now, how did I discover this? Well, in testimony, Representative Titus had this to say about Trump's life-saving call. Representative Titus then went on to say, I think it probably was, and this administration has very little respect for anything intellectual. And this is yet another example. This is an epic case of TDS. Representative Titus condemns Trump for being anti-intellectual, for making a better call than an academic model and saving American lives. Unbelievable. Post-twit. Also, I just saw C-SPAN's transcript was truncated. Her line was actually, was that like bad politics as opposed to good science? Also, has anyone seen it reported before that Trump rejected the academic model? So Trump went against what they were telling him, saying it didn't matter. Let everyone in. Don't have travel bans. But what's very interesting is that other countries are doing what he decided to do. Why do you think they told him not to ban the travel? You think this was part of their plan? I do believe so. We are now seeing restaurants, bars, entertainment and recreational areas. They're all closing in Washington. And I believe this is also happening across the country. A lot of businesses are shutting down, and a lot of people are doing things online right now. Everything is coming to a screeching halt, and there's a reason for all of this. And we know that the mainstream media was out there, and they continually put out fake news over and over and over. Remember with Google preparing this website for the coronavirus screening? Well, it is live right now. It is being tested for residents in Santa Clara and San Mateo counties in Northern California. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, why did Trump go to Google? Remember, optics are very important. The deep state, they already had this event plan. Trump, he's moving along doing exactly what they think he was supposed to do, making it seem like he's following along in this event. And we'll explain this all a little bit later in this report. But we are seeing a lot of fake news being pushed out there. We see from CNN, Jim Sciutto, he's spreading fake news of a nationwide curfew. Now, he put this out there. This is what he tweeted. New, there are active discussions within the Trump administration to encourage a possible curfew across the nation in which non-essential businesses would have to close by a certain time each night. Katie Miller, who is Pence's press secretary, said this is not correct. So once again, we are seeing fake information. There's also fake information saying that we're headed towards martial law, that everything's going to be shut down. And we see messages coming out of all different organizations within the government. Here we have Acting Deputy Secretary Ken Cuccinelli. He says, hey, folks, we're not shutting down the United States. Lots of serious misinformation being peddled out there. And that's exactly what they're doing. They are just pushing fake information. Remember, the mainstream media, the deep state, they are pushing their event. This is what they want to happen. This is why they keep using propaganda to push exactly what they want to happen. But it's not happening the way they want it. Remember, the mainstream media, the deep state, those individuals that are pushing fear, panic, and everything else, they believe they're in control when they're not. Now, the White House, they're canceling their annual Easter egg roll over the coronavirus concerns. Now, this was a 140-year event that took place on the White House South Lawn, and now they have to cancel it. And like we said, we see Europe, they are shutting borders. We see Canada right now. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that his government will be closing its borders to all non-citizens and anyone else who isn't a permanent resident. Now, U.S. citizens, they're exempt right now for the moment. Doesn't mean that they're not going to say, okay, no one's coming in. But if you notice, Germany, they had a fold. We have the UK. They are now banning people. We have Canada doing it. They're following exactly what Trump has done. What is he reversing here? All the theories and ideas that open borders are fantastic. No matter what happens, you should always have open borders. But look what Trump has done. He has protected the U.S. by controlling the borders, having secure borders, building a wall. This is about exposure. This is about showing the people firsthand how this works. We've been talking about this for quite a while. How people under Obama and others were able to just come into the United States, bring diseases, they weren't vetted, and they were just shipped off to different places in the country. And now we can see how important it is. And the rest of the people can understand why it's so important, reversing everything the deep state was trying to do. Now we're seeing a huge amount of resignations since this coronavirus. And each time or each day, we're seeing more and more CEOs, executives run. They're dropping out saying, okay, I see what's happening here. The latest is Lockheed Martin's Hewson. This is Marilyn Hewson. She is going to step down as chief executive officer. Why are all these people leaving? Why are they running as this coronavirus is hitting? Are they realizing that it's not working? I do believe they're starting to realize that their event that they thought they were controlling, and they're going to continually push panic and fear until the very, very end. I do believe they're starting to realize that it's not going the way they thought it was going. Jake Tapper tweeted out a message.
Could we do something about the waste we produce? Try Dettol biodegradable wipe.
Message, and I do believe this message is to Hillary Clinton. It says, and remember, her United States Secret Service code name is Evergreen. Evergreen health doctors test positive for coronavirus in critical condition. So Evergreen, which is Hillary Clinton, he's telling her that this whole coronavirus scare, It's in critical condition. It is not working the way we thought. And I do believe the white hats, the patriots, they neutralized this virus in a certain way. And we'll get into that in just a moment, too. Now, it seems that Trump and his administration, they are sending us messages, letting us know that the plan, the storm, is happening. This is coming from Enoch. An O turns into a Q at 21 seconds, then a shield with a plus. Now, Trump put this out, and it's a message on how to stop the spread. And when the letters start to disappear, and I slowed it down, if you're watching it on the video, I slowed it down enough so you can see the letter Q. Enoch then refers us to post 2597. It says, do you believe in coincidences? And it says, O made into a Q. More to find over time. Happy hunting. And as the letters disappeared, O turns into a Q, letting us know the Patriots are in control. Then we have Dan Scavino. He put out a GIF of the American flag, and that reminds me of post 3276. And this is Patriots have pride, Patriots have love, united, not divided, flags out. Patriots are in control. Now, very interestingly, Praying Medic, he picked up on the order of operations of arrests. And this is in a Q post, and this is post 88. So we know that arrests are happening in Saudi Arabia. Right now, they have detained 298 public officials in the new corruption probe. And Pray Medic refers to post 88, and it says, why is this relevant? Saudi Arabia first, then the U.S., then Asia, then the EU. We are witnessing the storm right now. During the storm, how do you protect the people? How do you track those who are going to be arrested? And how do you protect the public from false flags during mass arrests? You minimize the exposure. You keep public gatherings to a minimum. You close down the deep state targets. We're counting down right now. Now, Dr. Russell McGregor, and I took a portion of his Twitter thread of how this could play out. Now, I'm not saying this is exactly how it's going to play out. I have different opinions on what Dr. Russell McGregor wrote, but let me begin and let me read down what he wrote. He says, attention patriots, my final analysis of how the storm will unfold. I shall put together all the Q puzzle pieces. In doing so, I will take my best guess as to how the ideal U.S. military strategy might be structured to complete the storm. I am willing to take the heat if my guesses do not largely eventuate. Let's start with the virus. SARS-CoV-2 is a PSYOP. It is real virus, but causes little morbidity and mortality. Thus, it is benign overall and less of a concern worldwide than influenza. And actually, we've been seeing that. The virus can be problematic, but only in those with serious comorbid disease, almost exclusively the elderly. Having said this, preventative measures should be undertaken until POTUS gives the all clear. Antivirals such as remdesivir will be useful in ICU treatment. The virus was engineered by the deep state at the University of North Carolina, Fort Detrick, and AAHL, Geelong. It, however, has been attenuated, neutralized by white hats. 2 of the 4 HIV inserts have had base pair additions to ameliorate the gain of function. China, Iran, Italy are all on the side with POTUS. They have largely manufactured the crisis by controlling the release of the PSYOP disinformation. Remember, Italy was involved in Spygate and needed to make amends. Most deaths will have had intercurrent influenza. Hence, conservative influenza prevention treatment is important. China released the virus at the designated time. The purpose was to create panic as cover for the operation. Quarantines will be staged throughout major cities of the world. For instance, Sydney is likely to start this Wednesday, March 18, 2020. The level of action will be entirely inappropriate for the actual risk posed. The mainstream media is hoping the virus is very deadly and will end POTUS politically. It is not and will not. They will ramp up the panic because they have no other choice. They're under the impression the virus is in the original deep state form. During these quarantine periods worldwide, there will be silent, simultaneous arrests of evil, low-level deep state facilitators. These include MS-13, Mafiosa, the Cartel, Canberra Raiders, and the rest. These nasty individuals will be put in quarantine camps run by the worldwide white hat military. An example are the American locations, and he has this map. Now, we'll talk about this map a little bit later, but the map does match up to the sealed indictments. Let me continue. We will not hear too much of these arrests, although some have already subtly been announced. So no dramatic arrest of these nasty individuals. Silence is strategically the best option. The worldwide city quarantines will continue from the staggered individual commencements until they all end the 10th of April, Easter Friday. Now remember, Trump set up the travel ban and it ends on April 10th. April 10th is Donald Trump's initials. And it's also Good Friday. He said superimposed upon this will be 10 days of darkness, which will begin on April 1st morning and end April 10th. Now, I don't know if the dates are correct because we heard from Trump where he's saying there's going to be 15 days. So I'm thinking anything within that period of time. But don't worry about the dates. Think of 10 days of darkness. Let me continue. Immediately before the start of darkness, POTUS will tweet, "My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us." April Fool's Day will lessen the initial worries about darkness occurring. When darkness occurs, there'll be peak COVID-19 panic and medical martial law worldwide. That doesn't mean that it's martial law and there's troops on the streets and nobody can leave their house. This is quarantine zones. Quarantine medical martial law will have been in place in most major cities for some time before April 1st, 2020. Many people will be self-isolating at home. Most will have already prepped for food, etc. In Australia, the unemployed pensioners will be given about $750 on March 31st, 2020. Other countries will have contingencies too. This means few will starve. Some emergency stops will be open to provide supplies if needed, but generally, most shops will be closed. The 10 days of darkness will involve no social media or internet. I do believe internet will be up, but we're already getting word that social media, certain videos, certain people that have Twitter, those channels might be shut down. There will be electricity, but no TV or radio. No newspaper will print. The military of each country will close these down. POTUS will have the only available method of reaching the public worldwide throughout the 10 days of darkness, and that will be through the emergency broadcast system or the emergency alert system. Each military worldwide will transmit this to TVs and devices in the respective countries. POTUS will be either aboard Air Force One during the days of darkness for optics. Ostensibly, the excuse for the use of Air Force One will be safety and or infection risk. The EBS, or the emergency alert system, will be transmitted from Air Force One. There will be effectively be a total news blackout except for Trump. Now, this goes on with other things, but I wanted to talk about what is going to happen. Now, I do believe that this is about removing the power structure of the deep state. Trump, he came out and you can see on his Twitter account, there's going to be 15 days of self-quarantining. He wants everyone to be in a group of 10 or less people and people to stay in their homes and don't travel. There's going to be no school. There's going to be no businesses open. And it seems that they are prepping for what is coming. Now, Trump tweeted this out. "I ask all Americans to band together and support your neighbors by not hoarding unnecessary amounts of food and essentials. Together, we will stay strong and overcome this challenge." Remember, Q has always told us, together we are strong. Now, when we look at the maps of the quarantine areas in the United States, We have Seattle, we have Washington, California, we have Texas, we have Colorado, we have Georgia, we have DC, New York, New Jersey, Michigan, we have Illinois. These are the same states that we have all these indictments. Yes, there are other states, and the quarantine areas will probably be added to this, but they do match up pretty darn good. Now, Jordan Sather picked up on something that Trump said. This is what he tweeted out. In talking about the coronavirus and its impact, POTUS quickly mentions it's nobody's fault unless you go to the original source.
Airlines are concerned, the airlines, we're going to back the airlines 100%. It's not their fault. It's nobody's fault unless you go to the original source, but it's nobody's fault.
Wait a minute. So what is the original source? What is he talking about? He's letting everyone know that it's nobody's fault unless you look at who actually started this. Where did this come from? Now, if we go back in time to Q's posts, things start to make sense here. This is post 282, and Anon asked a question. I have a question. The 10 days of darkness, when? Q just answered, shutdown. Now, this was December 2017. If we go back to post 97, it says, paint the picture. Now, I'm just reading in a certain area of this post. It says, paint the picture. Disinformation exists and is necessary. 10 days, darkness, war, good versus evil. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, you think the internet will be shut down? Do you think social media will be shut down? I do believe social media will be shut down. I don't think it's going to be the entire internet. I don't believe there's going to be a kill switch, because Q has told us in the past that the social media providers like Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and the rest, they're the ones who are going to block information. And we're already getting word, because Team YouTube tweeted out the following. With fewer people to review content, our automated systems will be stepping in to keep YouTube safe. More videos will be removed than normal during this time, including content that does not violate our community guidelines. Now, I do believe Facebook, Twitter, and the rest are going to have the same exact messages, which fits into 10 days of darkness. And these arrests that we're witnessing right now, they're going to be done silently. This is why in post 3892, Q said silent running is a tactic used when? Because they are removing the power structure of the deep state. What is the power structure of the deep state? Certain operatives, gangs, paid mercenary forces that carry out events. Why do they want to remove all of this? This way they can go after the major players. This way they can't use anything as they make the top level arrests. So these arrests, which I do believe are being done in silent, these are the low level operatives that can push certain events. And I do believe this is the first phase of the storm. Operation Strip the Power worldwide. Remove the power so the deep state cannot push events. The second phase of the storm is the investigations of those who are in charge, those who are calling the shots. And this is why I believe Jake Tapper was saying and tweeting out to Evergreen that the coronavirus is in critical condition. It is not working the way we thought it was going to work. And the arrests of Hillary Clinton, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Obama, Brennan Comey, everyone that we've been hearing about for a very long time, these will be made public once the investigations are complete. Durham is wrapping up his investigation in the summer. Remember, Q has told us it's going to be a hot spring and summer. So the question is, when do you use the Trump card? When is the right time? The right time is when you remove all the power from the deep state. The right time is when these individuals are powerless. And what do I mean by powerless? The mainstream media can't support them anymore. Their power has been stripped away. They're no longer reporting fake information. Actually, they might not even be reporting. They can't have their paid mercenary forces, deep state operatives, gangs push their events. At this time, these people are helpless. These people are exposed. There's no place for them to run. Now, do I believe in this next phase we will have suicide weekends? Do I believe that people will run? Yes, but Trump, the Patriots, they're going to play the Trump card. These are the investigations. These are the indictments against these individuals. And I believe Trump and the Patriots, they want to make this public so the people see it happen. What we're watching now is the silent arrest of removing their power structure. And I believe the public arrests, those will be coming very, very soon once this operation is complete, because we know the investigations are wrapping up. And this is why Q has told us it's going to be a hot spring and summer. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared.
And you know what? I actually was only going to play half of that, and I just got massively carried away with myself. So I'm sorry about that. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that was good.
Shout out to Iga. Who is Q? That's probably like the most asked questions by all of the millions of Anons. But I would ask
We are Q.
wonder about the questions you're asking. Ask the right questions. Like, that's why I said, what does Earth look like? What is Earth? How big's Earth? How big's Earth, Rich? How big's the Earth? Everyone in the chat room, can you quickly answer for me how big Earth is? What's the size of the Earth?
I can't tell you, babe.
Oh,
I wouldn't have any idea.
You must know.
No, all I know is that everywhere I look,
yeah,
it's observably flat.
Yeah, but how big is it?
Don't know.
Okay.
No
does
idea.
That mean,
No possible way. No possible way of me.
Does that mean the whole subject's like out in the bin because you don't know the size of it?
Well, it just means that really, if I'm realistic,
yeah,
in my entire reality, the shape of this Earth has never actually mattered. Right? What matters to me is the fact that I've been lied to about it. And I know I've been lied to about it because of the observations I've made. So I just say the Earth is a big space that we live in. I don't know how big it is.
And I want to try and be as helpful as I can with some of these questions because, like I said, I'm a massive shout out to you all for still being here with us. Space Force does sound ridiculous. So let's just change the O to an R and say Space Fast. And it does sound ridiculous, but not to us all because we're awake. So if any project did breach past where anything's gone before, it would probably be there to disclose the fact, like the science community did last year, telling us that the moon is actually within reach of our atmosphere, and they got that wrong, and most of society didn't blink an eyelid at that. So I could quite imagine.
Oh God, no! That
Schofield.
That was amazing, Matt.
Do you remember when Philip?
That was amazing when they did that.
It was, wasn't it? Philip Schofield said to Mark Sargent. Do you remember when he said about, oh well, do you know what? With everything going on right now, someone was to tell me that I wasn't on what I was taught.
That the Earth was
flat. All right. I'd be all right with it. I'd be all right with it. I'd be fine with it. So I think after what we're about to go through now, see this storm that we're in now, the storm that's upon us internationally, borders shut down, everyone off the street, mass arrest, Kabul removed off streets. It will be truth and transparency from there on in. So I think all of these new things that are implemented afterwards, but we shall see. I'm just trying to be helpful. I'm not preaching to you. Please understand, I'm not preaching to any of you. None of us are. We're just trying to work through it. Sorry, darling, go on.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question of both chat rooms.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For whatever reason, I've always felt my entire life, I felt like either just that I was going to be involved in something really, really, really big, like almost like the end of the world as we know it kind of thing. And when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the apocalypse and Armageddon and all of that sort of stuff. And I just want to know how many people in the chat room have felt, did you ever think that you were ever going to see something like this in your life? Did you ever think for a second that you were going to be part of the end of the world as you know it, because that is what's happening right now. You know that, and I don't mean that in a that's not I don't mean that in a scary way. I'm not trying to make anybody scared or anything. It's only the end of the world as we know it. That's all it is. And as we know it, we've all got to admit it sucks pretty hard right now, man. So that's not a bad thing, is it? The end of the world as we know it. Yes, bring it around. I've been saying it for ages because it sucked. It got to such a sucky point. You know, it got to such a depressing point, looking around and thinking, oh my word, is this what we've got to? Is this where we are now? You know? So the end of the world as we know it, I think it's fantastic.
But it's the end of this oppressive infrastructure that we've been living in for far too long. Then, you know, if, you know, the oppressor's system is going to have to be destroyed. And obviously there's going to be parts of that system that have serviced our lives for a very long time. And it's going to be a hard thing for us to let some of it go. But I think I've got faith in the fact that we're all going to come out of this better off than we went in. And again, I want to thank you all for still being here with us, because we're going through some tentative subjects that don't sit easy with some of you. Massively respect you still being here. What I'm doing still awake, I've got no idea. I would have thought I'd have been holding my eyes open with like matchsticks.
My eyes are stinging a little bit.
I've got no business being awake. No business. But I'm awake. Nevertheless, I've got no work tomorrow.
Hey, have you got to go to work tomorrow?
No.
Have you got to go to work tomorrow?
It's like Christmas.
Have you got to get up? Have you got to get up for anything really tomorrow? Does it matter if you sleep until 12 o'clock?
I'm not going to be sleeping until 12 o'clock. I've got a dog, mate. He'll be like 8:30 in the morning, take me for a bop. So yeah, I'll be taking Kenny for a walk in the morning and drinking coffee. But no, I won't be working. So no, I'm good. Rolling through the evening. We will get to
the great thing about my place.
Yeah.
It's the great thing about my apartment, because Alfie just goes out onto the outside, and I just have to go and clean that up every day or so.
And to you in the chat room as well, Jim Eldridge, Isabella Neal, John Cleese, Lee L, Lunderground, Maggie Ray, still there in the chat room. Colin Turner, lovely to see you.
Shout out, Jim.
Room. Yeah. Jim Eldridge, the Ethos, Faith, Chris Theolalt, lovely to see you as well. True Seeker, Pat Riot in the chat room as well. Shivite in the chat room, lovely to see you. Lovely.
Pat Riot.
Yeah. I'm just making sure I don't miss Jesse as well, and Alfie as well, and Riddle Me This. I think I said that already. And if any of you want to shout out, just jump in the chat room. Iger Vision says almost midnight and flatter than a pancake in Florida. John Cleese, 67, still with us. Yeah. It says 77 on my screen. So I can't thank you. What's 77? Funny with the numbers, isn't it? No, Faith, and that's okay. I've got another video I'm going to show you all. I'm going to roll with you all for as long as possible. Double, if you fall asleep, you fall asleep. It's okay.
I'm not falling asleep. My eyes are stinging a little bit.
On stream. I won't play all of this one, because if I do, I'll be sat here until like 10 to 5 in the morning. But I did say this is what I was going to go to bed and watch. So I will watch some of it with you. And then when I go to lie down, I'm going to watch the rest of it until I feel tired enough to go to sleep. So I'm not going to like spoil it by watching it all online now. It is about...
You're going to leave the link so that we can all go off and watch the end of it.
Yeah, of course I can. It is about 49 minutes long, and it is about a channel called And We Know. I will pop the link in the description for you right now. And this is going to be my evening's viewing before I go to sleep. So Dave says, I think I'm nocturnal now. Do take care all. Love and light and night, everyone. Faith, sweetheart, thank you for being with us. And yeah, the link's in there now, so you can watch this whenever you want, Faith. Rob, I've got truck driver work tomorrow, delivering food stuff to an Aldi distributor. May the force be with you, Rob. Good looking out on that. Where was Captain Cook from? English? We can get into that. I'll keep a note of that, and we'll get into that. There's some people that have been researching that and stuff. So yes, I'm off for rest now. Nighty night. No night to you, Colin.
Captain Cook. Isn't he Australian?
Yeah, London for us, John. Well, for me, 10 to 4 in the morning now. Yes, Alfie, I will make a note of that as well.
John Cleese, I don't think that Torquay's 6 hours ahead of London, mate. John Cleese is from Torquay, isn't he? He's got a hotel there, isn't he? Called Fawlty Towers or something.
Oh, you're a good
Sorry,
laugh.
it was a little bit.
You're a good laugh. Right, well, get comfy. Night to everybody that's signing off and going to sleep. And to those of you that are sticking with us, roll on through the link in the description. I know it's in the chat room. It'll be in the description after. For this now. Here we go.
To express my appreciation for the hard work done by the people and people back in the various offices, including the fact that I just left the Oval Office, so we have some people there that are probably watching this or they're just working. We're using the full power of the federal government to defeat the virus, and that's what we've been doing. Last week, we secured an initial $8.3 billion from Congress for the coronavirus, and that was quickly done and very efficiently done. I want to thank all members of Congress. Big deal, because it opened up avenues that we would never be able to open up without it, and it will make more than $50 billion available to us immediately in disaster relief funds. And that's available for states, territories, and local governments. So that was really, really good. We also reached an agreement yesterday on a new legislative package that will provide strong support for American families and communities in dealing with the coronavirus. So it was done partisan. It was nice to see. Probably
I think what might have happened is Rox has gone. Hang on a sec.
I'm back.
There she is.
That was really weird. I've got my BT router right beside my computer, and that one just went red, flashed about 5 or 6 times red, and just as I was leaning forward, I was about to go, oh dear. I did you, Rich. I did you. I went, yeah, all right, cool. We're done then, innit? It's a wrap. And then I went to my phone, and then it went no service. And I went, yeah.
I just messaged you and there's no service.
No.
It's not delivered. No.
My phone won't go back on my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi has gone blue, but I've got a funny feeling it's almost like a little hint of yeah, that'll get wiped eventually. So yeah, I will carry on. We're still rolling. Thank you all still for being here with us. We're back. We are back. And I will pick up from where I left off. I will share the screen. Boom. Share audio. Share it in there. Go there and press play.
done very, very bipartisan. It was very nice to see it. Probably the co-op.
So he's been working real hard. Our
we
MSM
go.
push
That's where we were.
conspiracy without investigation. Who controls the MSM? What does the word conspiracy mean to you? Has the word conspiracy been branded to mean something shameful in today's society? The world cannot handle the truth. This pill cannot be swallowed by most. Risk in painting this picture. The sum of all fears. Q. Now that was referencing that Q referencing uranium-1 and what other things all packaged together. But when I found this, I remember looking up the word handle because I knew it was about handling the truth. And I wanted to share this up front before we continue moving on. If you've got children in the room with you watching this, my advice is to probably not have them watch this as we go through some of the information that I'm going to disclose later, especially with some Pixar movies and their relationship to adrenochrome. So it's just my warning up front. This was very difficult news brief to put together. I had to talk to others that I trust to give me good counsel to make sure that this is done in good taste and in order and done correctly to the best of my ability. Did you see this? Gene Lampkin pasted this coronavirus impeachment scam. Remember, I put this in one of my videos as the intro. Shame on Fox Business for suspending Trish Reagan. They put her out because of her coronavirus impeachment scam opener. She was telling the truth. Finally, someone was saying what we were all thinking. Who's pulling the Fox News chains? Now, we talked about that already. We saw that Representative Ryan's over there running the show, some of it anyway. I'm deeply disappointed Fox News is silencing the truth. It's amazing because Donna Brazile can say whatever she wants, go to HE double hockey sticks and still be on Fox running her mouth. But Trish Reagan can't share the truth. Boy, I'm just sick of Fox and what they're turning into. So Joe M. Storm is upon us. Trolls can watch what just happened in Saudi Arabia and still not put it together that there's a dramatic and unprecedented global corruption purge underway known as the Storm. And it's coming to America. Did you see this? It's related to Saudi Arabia announced today the detention of 298 of government officials, including military and security officers, on charges involving bribery and exploiting public office, and said investigators would bring charges against them. So Reuters has Saudi Arabia Sunday announced the detention of hundreds of the government officials, including military and security officers, on charges with bribery. Now, scores of kingdom's economic and political elite were detained in 2017 on Riyadh's Ritz-Carlton Hotel in a corruption crackdown that unsettled some foreign investors. An anti-corruption body known as Nazaha tweeted on Sunday that it had arrested and would indict 290 people on crimes up to $101 million. That is absolutely amazing. We've got more going on. We had this story come out from the Justice Department. Jury finds Los Angeles businessman guilty in $1 billion biodiesel tax fraud scheme. Thank you, U.S. Attorney from Utah, posting this, that U.S. Attorney Huber, quote, no amount of bank accounts, shell companies, burner phones, or the transfer of millions of dollars to foreign countries will stop us from tracking down money stolen from the government and holding criminals responsible for their wrongdoing. One of those criminals is HRC and many more. I'm looking forward to the Justice Department taking them down. So March 16th, 2020, a federal jury in Salt Lake City, Utah, convicted California businessman Lev Aslan Durman, also known as Levon Termizdan, sorry, I can't say his name, of criminal charges today relating to $1 billion renewable fuel tax credit fraud scheme, announced Principal Deputy Assistant General Richard E. Zuckerman of the Justice Department's Tax Division. U.S. Attorney John W. Huber for the District of Utah, and many more. That guilty verdict brings Lev Durman and his co-conspirators to justice, and more is coming. So look at this. Steph Phillip put this out. Media skews coronavirus coverage to hype fear and to help Democrats. Quote, the news has hit a new low in terms of immoral reporting of fear-mongering, helping their friends, the Democrats. The left does not care about America, only their political aspirations. If you haven't noticed, Democrats and the left-wing media have seized on the opportunity with this virus. The last 3 to 4 weeks have been filled with panic, confusion, fear, and dread, with breathless reporting from mainstream media outlets. Leftist media and social media have played on citizens' emotions solely for political profit. It is to calm down. Anchors and reporters have worked the public into a lather, making them believe that the government will instill a mandatory quarantine. Their reporting has led to a hand sanitizer, soap, and toilet paper shortage around the country, with fights breaking out. Well, let's look at some of these headlines. Communist News Network put out Joe Biden. The virus lays bare the shortcomings of the Trump administration. It's all his fault, and he's nothing but trouble, right, folks? Trump claims coronavirus is under control, contradicting reality and his own top expert. What a bunch of liars over there. And Trump finds his MAGA movement fracturing over coronavirus. Another headline, Trump coronavirus press conference. Despite dire warnings, the president wants everyone to relax. When is the National Day of Science? This is from the New Rights Civil Movement. Trump blasted after spreading lies, then declaring today is a national day of prayer. Those satanic folks over there are justice is coming for them also. And Reuters, Fed slashes rates and emergency coronavirus move. They couldn't just put that headline. They had to add the U.S. death toll hits 62. Well, remarkable turnaround on the vaccine. This work should be applauded. This is from Eric Trump. Watch this.
Dr. Fauci to talk about the vaccine trial today and whether the timetable for vaccine is it possible to accelerate, or is it still 12 to 18 months?
So, thank you for that question. The vaccine candidate that was given the first injections for the first person took place today. You might recall when we first started, I said it would be 2 to 3 months. And if we did that, that would be the fastest we've ever gone from obtaining the sequence to being able to do a phase 1 trial. This has been now 65 days, which I believe is the record. What it is, it's a trial of 45 normal individuals between the ages of 18 and 55. The trial is taking place in Seattle. There will be 2 injections, one at 0 day, first one, then 28 days. There will be 3 separate doses, 25 milligrams, 100 milligrams, 250 milligrams, and the individuals will be followed for 1 year, both for safety and whether it induces the kind of response that we predict would be protective. And that's exactly what I've been telling this group over and over again. So it's happened. The first injection was today.
He's been telling them over and over again. Thank you, Ronna McDaniel, for posting that video. So we've got the inevitable _ET. He's just been throwing out all kinds of great information. COVID-19 compared to H1N1. Obama and fake news data sauced here. President Trump, yeah, we've got a U.S. cases 1329, deaths 38. That number's gone up a little bit. President Obama, what did he have? Well, he had 60.8 million cases, 12,000 plus U.S. deaths, and the panic level was chill. Just relax. Do you see how the media can manipulate your life? Also, Bernard B. Carrick said, and he's the official Twitter account for Bernard B. Carrick, 40th Police Commissioner of the New York City Police Department, and he's a New York Times best-selling author. Why do I feel this hysteria is being created to destabilize the country and destroy the unparalleled and historic economic successes of President Trump? So here's the statistics, January to February 2020, 2,360 coronavirus. Common cold, 69,000. Malaria, 140,000. Suicide, 150,000 plus. Road accidents up more than 190,000. HIV loss, 240,000 plus. Alcohol, 350,000 plus. Smoking, 700,000 plus. And cancer, more than 1 million, almost 1,200,000. So we had some more drops here from folks getting the virus that are big names. Universal Music chief Lucian Grange hospitalized with coronavirus. What was interesting is word of Grange's illness has rattled the West Coast. Power players who attended his 60th birthday on February 29th in Palm Springs And that event was held at La Quinta's Madison Club, an enclave of private residences on a pristine golf course. Kris Jenner owns a $12 million 7-bedroom mansion in the community. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian West were recently linked to a land purchase nearby, and daughter Kylie Jenner. Well, there's other residents, Gerber, Cindy Crawford, Sly Stallone, Scooter Braun, and some other names that folks know. Well, the Cade Awakening put this out, news out that 7 Italian priests have reportedly died of the coronavirus. Interesting what's going on in Italy and what's located in Italy, the Vatican. Huh. Well, we're going to go here to Lady Gaga. Reveals she is self-quarantined after seeking advice. And she said, quote, "I talked to God. She said we're going to be okay." Or God is female, even though scriptures show that God is the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit. No female reference there. Anyway, we're not going to get into that into deep detail, but I'm going to share some information now. Here we go. So Lady Gaga put out on Instagram, looks like 42W, that's 42 weeks, I'm not sure. But she put this out, and make of it what you will. "Beware of vampires. The blood you choose to suck, choose wisely. It may fill your pores from the inside out with a wicked poison unknown to you. Perhaps you took a bite of flesh you can't handle. Perhaps I am also a vampire, or a new creature, undead, you have yet to meet." What does that sound like to you? I don't have to explain. Well, again, remember the last video we talked about the adrenochrome. Follow the white rabbit. That looks like a rabbit right there. And we found out that it's manufactured there in Wuhan. And some folks were asking what that means, and I didn't go too much into detail, but I will share something here. If you saw the movie Monsters, Inc., most of you know when you watch this movie, it's a kid's film. In that movie, they have children that fill up these canisters, and I believe that canister has some red stuff in it, with their screaming. So if the monsters can scare the children's screams fill up these vials right here. Now, adrenochrome, if you look on how it's made or some of the things that come out about this information, most of you who have been following Q know pretty much what's going on when we reference this adrenochrome. Basically, in the blood, if you have children scream, adrenaline goes through the blood. It's mostly of the young children who scream and are scared the most. What do you think they do with the blood when these children scream? And then we have also adrenaline, adrenochrome. Think of it what you will. So IET 17 says he agrees with this anon. The adrenochrome produced in the Wuhan facility was infected with a special variant of the mass-released coronavirus variant. Those who took the tainted adrenochrome will be blood tested and proven in a court of law that they were taking adrenochrome from the Wuhan lab. Prima facie evidence. Now, that is the opinion of an anon, probably through the Q board, and I'm not saying it. I'm reporting the information that I'm finding, and I'm letting you guys see it and decide what you may. I am not saying I agree or disagree with it. I am telling you that when I find this information, a lot of stuff I do not share. I try very hard to try to make this channel through prayer to be very clean and very happy and enjoyable for most. But the truth has to come out, like I said in the beginning of this video. Many will not be able to handle it. So he also put out, use Google and search anything QAnon. Go on Facebook, search anything QAnon. Truth finally shown. Apparently they have unlocked Twitter and Facebook and Google. Set damage on your memes to maximum and deploy everything you got. We are the flood. Now is the time. Start releasing your memes and your information, folks, through Google, doing your searches. Start posting stuff, because now when you're doing these Google searches, If you type in adrenochrome, look what is popping up. Look at this. I did my own search and took a picture. Look what you see, folks. Who do you see? What are the faces that are on this particular Google search? These are things that were buried by them before. What's going on? Are the white hats in control now of Google? Man, I certainly hope so, because they also run, I believe, YouTube, and YouTube is being suppressed. Our views from the QTubers movement, we know we're being suppressed. Every time we upload a video, they're telling us that, basically we can't do anything with it. They basically judge what they want to do with our information. Well, CJ Truth just Googled PEDOGATE, so I still have to spell it out, thinking they're going to shut this down if I say the word. And look what pops up. What we know about pizza. Whose pictures are popping up? Epstein's Island, Oprah Winfrey, and more. So we go to, again, Operation March Madness, Top Kick, Full Scale Attack, March Madness, Prepare, Q. U.S. Marshals, the Walker County Sheriff's Office recently kicked off an effort dubbed Operation March Madness that has resulted in 122 arrests for the month so far, including the capture of U.S. Marshals fugitive Joshua Wayne Burnett. Let's keep going. Well, we've got Bill Maher hosts the final real-time before show goes dark over the coronavirus. Now, my first thought when I saw this was, why would he have to stop a show that's their show being the left's show, for their agenda to put their hate on the president and beef up Biden and, all the way to the election year? Why pause? Why stop? They don't need an audience. Why can't he just look at the camera and tell his jokes, do some fake laughs, and use it to push their agenda? Doesn't make sense. What does make sense is I went into Google and said, hey, well, if it's working now, I'm going to type in Bill Maher red shoes, and voila. What do you see? He's wearing those red shoes. It's all over Google. And I found this image here. You've got the arrow pointing to the red shoes. Bill Maher, PEDO cannibal. His red shoe signifies what he is. And his company's called Kid Love Productions. Why? Well, Q told us about this. Q2886 basically shows those who are loudest. And they had these picture drop from IMDb Pro. There it is, Kid Love Productions, Bill Maher. He's an I'm Swiss production company, Real Time with Bill Maher production company, and Be More Cynical. Just sick what this guy belongs to, yet he's shutting his show down that goes against our president. Brings new meaning to maybe this, as Gervais, I'm sorry if I said his name wrong. I get so many people correcting me on names, and I apologize. But he gave that amazing opening speech roasting all of the Hollywood elite. Let's listen to one of these.
But tonight isn't just about the people in front of the camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care.
He does not look happy right there, does he? And I remember I pulled up some lines from that comedy act. And he basically was putting everyone on alert. And he said, in one of the shows, spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way. So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. And he's referencing a Netflix show. And he says, just like Jeffrey Epstein, he didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. So he tells everyone, you're friends with Epstein. Well, we know about Epstein and his island, and I shared about Tom Hanks earlier in his visit to that island. Lockheed Martin's Houston to step down as CEO. So this is March 16th by Reuters. Monday, Maryland Houston will step down as CEO. The number one U.S. defense contractor said board member James Tatlett will replace Newsom. So also we have Daniel Goldman has coronavirus. Impeachment lawyer blasts Trump over testing. Attorney Daniel Sachs Goldman has tested positive for coronavirus, and the famous New York-based lawyer had a few choice words for President Donald Trump. Interesting. So we go further. 3 days, 3 nights said, here's how I know it's about to go down. Vegas closing casinos today. Even on 9/11, they didn't close the casinos. But they choose to close them now. Tiffany Fitzhenry does an amazing job. Seen her many interviews and her YouTube show. She says Warner Brothers suspended production. Netflix stops all production and pre-production, shuts offices. Disney closes parks, halts filming worldwide. Now Universal. Hollywood is in retreat. Their CEOs are fleeing. Meanwhile, others are very busy building. So Universal has decided to halt production on Jurassic World Dominion, Flint Strong, and the untitled Billy Eichner project, all going on hiatus. And so we had also another one. Julie Kapp put out Obama and George Bush spiritual advisor pleads guilty to fraud. He's charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud in connection to his role in a multi-million-dollar investment scheme that preyed on elderly. Where's Chris Cuomo? Acosta, John King, CNN reporting. It's nowhere. They're protecting him. So the president put this out also. So now it is reported that after destroying his life and the life of his wonderful family and many others also, the FBI, working in conjunction with the Justice Department, has lost the records of General Michael Flynn. How convenient. I am strongly considering a full pardon. Now, with that coming out, listen to the lawyer for General Flynn at Sidney Powell 1. It says that still things Hillary Clinton could be indicted for, and frankly, she should be. Check
still be indicted for because the Espionage Act very clear violations of the Espionage Act and really no issue about intent despite President Obama proclaiming otherwise. And of course, you realize the reason that Hillary had to be protected was because he was writing her on that secret server using an alias, which shows that he damn well knew and had approved in advance her use of the secret unsecured server. On top of that, there's the Anthony Weiner laptop, which I don't know if you heard this. I wrote an article about that too. 675,000 Clinton emails when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop in a search warrant because of all his sex perversion issues. It was all the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation, her Secretary of State emails, Huma Abedin's emails. Lots of people emailed Huma as a proxy for Hillary, and it included what Comey called the sorry, I must wave my hands more than most people. The golden emails, because they were the BlackBerry backup emails that they were supposedly just looking for everywhere very diligently. Well, guess what they did when they found them on the Weiner laptop? They got a search warrant for things that didn't include the BlackBerry backup emails. So when they told us, when he stood there and said that day, oh, you know, we've reviewed all the emails now, there's nothing there, that was a bald-faced lie. They specifically did not look at the BlackBerry backups, and they didn't look at a fraction of the emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. So one of the things, if I were the president, I'd do is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military to take apart everything on it and then start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. And in fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up.
That's right. They had to go through a lot. We've heard this before. And I think when she mentions that they should take that laptop to the right people. I think it's already happening. She's just letting us know what they've already done. Now, this was great information. An O turns into a Q. This is from @Elenocle. That's Enoch. And O turns into a Q at 21 seconds in, then a shield with a plus, Q plus. Watch this, and then we're going to go over it in detail. It's interesting because the first time I saw this, it went real fast. I had to keep rewinding over and over again looking for the Q. And somebody posted this picture. Do you believe in coincidence? 15 March 2020. We had 12 December 2018. Q plus. Confirmed. O made into Q. More to find over time. Happy hunting. So there's more of these Qs that they were going to throw. The O to a Q. Pretty cool. Now we're going to watch it in slow motion. You can see right there, there's the Q as it was paused. Check this out. In slow motion, as it plays, you can see all the letters disappearing little by little, and there's that Q showing up. O to Q, just like we were told in the past that they would do to communicate with us. And there's the Q, changed to S. Check this out, and then you've got the plus. Isn't that amazing, folks? The O to a Q, and then the plus. Woohoo! Just gotta love that. Outstanding. It gets me excited. Now we're going to enter into Esther Warrior @believe_coach. Pray for the President of the United States. I believe we're at war. It's happening. The president is keeping us safe under the guise of quarantine, is what is believed by Esther Warrior. Think logically. Let's think logically. Number one, would major stars announce to the world they have the coronavirus? They think we are lowly sheep. Tom Hanks, Rita, arrested, more than likely. And so we had the Q drop. Who was talking? Think big, bigger, think biggest. Haiti focus. Why is this relevant? Who comes next? And so you've got big on Hanks, bigger is Spielberg, and biggest is Oprah. Now, what's interesting about Hanks, as we went further, we talked about it in the last video. Think logically. Chet Wilson, Tom Hanks' son, goes on with all C&I tattooed to his chest, and he was just having to show that off. Spielberg abruptly leaves Indiana Jones 5, just leaves. Spielberg's daughter, porn star, saying it was expected of her. Oprah falls. Madonna falls off a stage. Remember that? Follow the stars, we were told by Q. So it's interesting as we follow the stars and we talk about Hanks. I want to share, and I don't like to do this often. As a matter of fact, I'd hardly ever do it at all, but I hardly ever pause to share my thoughts and some other information that I normally don't put out when I've got so much to put out. I know the video is going to end up being longer than 30 minutes. I get real nervous because your time is very valuable, and I'm sure many QTube channels are already sharing a lot of this information. Therefore, I try to be real careful to value your time. Tom Hanks, it was a difficult one for me to handle personally. I will tell you that I remember one of my favorite movies. It's right after I got married. Was when Tom Hanks played in Sleepless in Seattle. It's a movie that touched me greatly. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the act that he played as the father, and he met somebody he fell in love with. And at the very end, it was the perfect meeting in New York City. And I love that movie. I've also seen him in other great movies where he has had wonderful performances. And I had the chance to meet him at Parris Island when I was a public affairs representative for the Marine Corps and was giving a tour of Parris Island to the visitors and guests from 1992 to 1995. When I was doing that and he showed up.
And on that note, look at that. I played 33 minutes of it. You couldn't make that up, could you? That is on And We Know's channel. I've shared the link for that in the description and in the chat, and I'll pop in the description after. I'm going to watch the rest of that before I go to sleep tonight. That's the most recent one. I'm just going to show you the channel here.
I was enjoying that.
Good.
That was
so yeah,
good.
That's the channel, how it looks there. That's the name of the channel there, and we know. And that's the video that we were watching there. Pretty
Please
much.
go and check out some of the other videos.
Yeah, I was going to say pretty much every other day, you know, he kind of updates everything that's going on with the map with regards to what's going on in the news. You don't have to give yourself such a headache watching mainstream media. He kind of does all the hard work for us so that we can just kind of then go down those lines of investigation and look. So if you're interested in that, I've shared the link in the chat for you. So you can go ahead and watch that. It is way past my bedtime. It is like 4:30 in the morning. Why am I not asleep? I just can't sleep. I can't. It's not an exciting thing. I just literally, I'm going to need to like exhaust myself to go to sleep.
Rox, we've gone for another 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh, get out, Rich.
Our streams at the moment are epic.
Like, what is actually wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Oh my goodness. Guys, thank you so much for rolling through with us. We've gone to...
How many people have we got? I don't have my phones. How many people
I've got
have we got?
60
I'm not in the
watching
chat
right
room,
now. Cheers, guys. They
how
said
many in
awesome.
mine?
Banger.
How many in mine?
I can't see from StreamYard. I can only see on my screen, on me. And my battery's dead on my phone. That's why I'm not in the chat room anymore.
I'll have to go in.
You're going to have to look.
I think I've got...
Great stuff, Jim. Subbed it. Brilliant. I know, Jesse, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. 33 minutes. We stopped it literally on 33 minutes. Cheers, Jim. Yeah, it does make you wonder. And that's why I said just try and like watch with an open mind. I know there's a lot of things in there that might not sit well with a lot of people. I know there's a lot of things that might have been hard to hear there. But definitely go and take a look and then just go and kind of investigate it for yourself. Go and see if any of it tallies up with what you're seeing. So thank you again. Once again, we have come to the end of an epic evening. We will be back on your screens at around 7:30 GMT. In actually 12, 13, 14. We'll be back on your screens in almost exactly 2 minutes time. 12, 13, 15 hours. We'll be back on your screens in 15 hours from now. So go and do whatever you have to do in life. Sleep, eat, work, play. Do whatever it is you need to do. We'll be back on your screens in 15 hours from now. We'll update you on everything that's going on internationally and closer to home.
And try to remember what we said, guys. This is a beautiful opportunity to create community. So let's try and love thy neighbor.
Definitely. I think that's the key sentence of today. Love thy neighbor. Do what you can for you in your community. Make sure your loved ones are okay. If there's anything you want us to share a light on, put a comment in the comment section in mine or 007's videos. You can contact me on operationrealness@yahoo.com. You can contact 007 at
Richard Avery 77@yahoo.com.
There you go. So yeah, don't hesitate to get in touch. There's information in the description just now. I'll pop some more information for all of the links and everything. I've got them all saved there, bookmarked. I'll pop them all in the morning. And yeah, take care of yourselves and each other. This has been me, Roxanne the Globalist, and 007 with Really Woke Reports. Chill out.
Sleep well, guys.
Sleep well, my darling.
Much love.
See you soon.